Chapter 2633. FF37. FF18. XFF33. FF23. OMU 85C0F, 8BF4, 66F4, 65B0, 6700, 5 February, 5C0F, 8BF4, 9605, 8BFB, 7F51. I'm so pissed. Pinliang's mouth could speak now, and he was fuming with rage. Yushu was too evil. She'd set him up for death. What should we do, Liang bro? Should we get revenge? Xiaofu asked carefully. Revenge? Of course we should. Pinliang gritted his teeth. Wait a couple of days when everything's over, and I'll release my centipede to bite her once, knock her out, and scare Lin Yi and the others. Why a couple of days later? Not now? Plus, bite her once, is that just to scare her? Shouldn't we take the chance to beat her up? Xiaofu didn't think it was enough to vent his anger. Idiot, if we beat her up and Lin Yi finds out about this secret, will he still accept my challenge? Pinliang said with a wave of his hand. Plus, what if she wakes up after we beat her up? What if she comes back for revenge? I'm not scared of her if it's a fight, but I'm worried that she'll play dirty tricks on me. Even if I can be with Meng Yao in the future, I'd still have to deal with her every day. We just need to scare her a little. I see. Xiaofu nodded. Let's go, we'll pay for the auction just now. Pinliang wouldn't be able to get away with this money unless he quit this school and left immediately. But that was impossible. He still had to find a chance to announce his challenge to Lin Yi. Who would he fight if he left now? Plus, if he won the challenge, he'd have to stay at this school as Meng Yao's bodyguard too. Lin Yi, Yushu, Meng Yao, and Xinyan had just finished the procedures for the auction and were walking out of the temporary workshop set up by the student union. Buyers and sellers needed to go through the procedures here after the auction and get their tickets to the ball tomorrow night. As the four of them walked out, Xiaolong, who had just finished his paperwork, walked out as well, stopping Xinyan from leaving. Xinyan. Xiaolong walked over quickly and greeted her. Kong Xiaolong? What's the matter? Xinyan could guess what was going on. She guessed that Xiaolong was here to show off after getting her bracelet. Xinyan, I bought that bracelet. I'm returning it to its rightful owner, Xiaolong said with a smile. But the bracelet, it's fine. I'm the one who auctioned it, so I shouldn't take it back. You donated for the kids, so it's only right that you keep it. Xinyan didn't really want to accept Xiaolong's stuff, especially in front of Lin Yi. She didn't know if she was being naive or not. But she didn't want to. She wanted nothing to do with Xiaolong. Hi, you're right, but since you're my fiancé, then what's mine is yours. So, just accept it. Xiaolong didn't forget to declare Xinyan's ownership in front of Lin Yi. Xiaolong's words pointed out that Xinyan was his fiancé, and it made Xinyan's heart tighten. She wanted to reject, but she was afraid that Xiaolong would use his status as her fiancé to talk back. She had no choice but to nod. All right then, that's more like it. Xiaolong smiled as he put his hand into his coat pocket. But as soon as he put his hand in, his face changed. He started searching all over his body, and cold sweat started forming on his forehead. The bracelet was gone. Lin Yi, Xinyan, Meng Yao, and Yushu stood in front of Xiaolong, looking at him searching his pockets. Kong Xiaolong, what are you doing? Where's the bracelet? Yushu was getting impatient. If you want to give it to me, then give it to me. If you don't, then forget it. We still need to eat. Why are you wasting our time? The bracelet is gone. I put it in my pocket. Why is it gone? Xiaolong was panicking. He searched everywhere, but couldn't find the bracelet. That's not right. It's such a short distance. How could it be gone? Just say it if you don't want to give it to me. How could you lose it? Yushu curled her lips. How could you lose it in such a short distance? Who would believe that? Shield bro, do you believe that? That's hard to say. Lin Yi shook his head. He didn't believe it. It's not that I don't want to give it to you, I really lost it. If you don't believe me, you can search me. Xiaolong quickly explained. I really lost it. Lost it? The bracelet belongs to Xinyan sis. How could you lose it? It seems like you don't care about it at all. Otherwise, why would you lose it? Yushu looked at Xiaolong strangely. Xiaolong was about to explode. He'd heard Tiger Wright and Xiaoming talk about how scary Yushu was, but he didn't think much of it. Now that he'd experienced it himself, he knew how scary she was. Forget it, Xinyan sis. It's pointless talking to people like this. Let's go eat. Yushu pulled Xinyan's hand and prepared to leave. Xiaolong wanted to explain, but he was afraid that the more he explained, the more Yushu would refute him. He had no choice but to stomp his feet and go back to look for the bracelet. But no matter how hard he looked, he couldn't find it. Give it to me. Xinyan raised her hand in front of Lin Yi after Xiaolong left, smiling at him. What? Lin Yi paused, but pretended like he didn't know. The bracelet. You must have gotten it back, Xinyan said confidently. Ah. Lin Yi nodded with a smile. He took out the bracelet from his pocket and gave it to Xinyan. You're pretty smart, guessing right away. Of course, it's easy to figure it out. Xinyan took the bracelet and put it on. Lin Yi realized that Xinyan could be very cute sometimes. She looked like a quiet girl, but once you got to know her, she would joke around occasionally. Lin Yi liked this personality. Xinyan sis, you really know Shield Bro. He's already surpassed us. Yushu smiled. That's all I know. Xinyan blushed, a little embarrassed. As the four were talking, Bai Weiduo and He Meiwei walked over, but there were two little tails behind them. One was Zhang Duopan, and the other was Fan Ganha. Bai Weiduo, you can't even afford the gold jewelry He Meiwei donated? What a coward. Zhang Duopan curled his lips. I say, Bai Weiduo, if I were you, I'd be too ashamed to show my face. How could I be with He Meiwei? FF37, W03C9, 30 FB, off 4D. Chapter 2634. FF37, FF18, XFF33. FF23, OMU 85C0F, 8BF4, 66F4, 65B0, 6700, 5 February, 5C0F, 8BF4, 9605, 8BFB, 7F51. Zhang Duopan, we are old classmates. Why are your words so unpleasant? He Meiwei was a little uncomfortable. She turned around and looked at Zhang Duopan. Whether Bai Weiduo has money or not, what does it have to do with the amount of love? He also donated something, and it was also bought by someone else. This can be considered as a contribution to the orphanage. He Meiwei, I was just kidding. Zhang Duopan heard He Meiwei's words, and naturally he didn't want to mock Bai Weiduo. He took out the gold jewelry and handed it to He Meiwei. Meiwei, this jewelry is yours. I specially bought it and returned it to you. How can I accept this? I was originally going to donate it, but since you've won it, it's yours now. He Meiwei shook her head and refused Zhang Duopan's kindness. Moreover, this gold jewelry has no commemorative meaning for me. It is just jewelry. You should keep it. Don't Meiwei? Zhang Duopan saw He Meiwei wanted to leave and reached out to grab her hand. He Meiwei frowned. She didn't expect Zhang Duopan to touch her. She quickly shook off Zhang Duopan's hand and said, Zhang Duopan, we are old classmates. Why do you have to be like this? If I fall out with you, we can't even be friends? Bai Weiduo's face turned red. He really wanted to beat Zhang Duopan up, but he also knew that if he made the first move, the one who would be beaten up would definitely be himself. Because Zhang Duopan had Fan Ganha, who had a sports background. Bai Weiduo took a deep breath and said, Zhang Duopan, Meiwei is now my girlfriend. What do you mean by grabbing her? What's wrong with your girlfriend? Aren't you two not married yet? Besides, I just want to return the gold jewelry to Meiwei. There is no other meaning. If you have the ability, you can auction this gold jewelry back. Then I don't have to return it to her. Zhang Duopan curled his lips and said disdainfully. Bai Weiduo was furious. However, Zhang Duopan ignored him and turned to He Meiwei. Meiwei, I'm a man. What's the point of holding on to this gold jewelry? Besides, you've worn it for so long, and you have feelings for it. You won't be willing to give it away just like that, right? I haven't worn it many times, so I don't have any feelings for it, He Meiwei said faintly. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Since you don't want it, give it to me. I'll donate it to the orphanage. You can exchange it for money. Lin Yi walked over and snatched the ornament from Zhang Duopan's hands. Zhang Duopan glared at Lin Yi, but he couldn't say anything to refute. After all, he had already said that it was useless for a man like him to have the gold jewelry. If he took it back, it would seem petty. He Meiyue, who didn't like him, would definitely think that he had an ulterior motive for giving her the gold jewelry. So, he could only suppress his anger. He said indifferently, "That's fine too. I'm just showing my love anyway." You're really caring." Bai Weidua saw that Lin Yi was here, and he finally vented his anger. He immediately felt great and mocked Zhang Duopan indifferently. "Of course, otherwise how could I bid?" Zhang Duopan said helplessly. However, after he Meiyue left, Zhang Duopan's mouth revealed a sly smile. Although he Meiyue didn't want the gold jewelry, his purpose had been achieved. Just now, when he was holding He Meiyue's hand, he applied a touch of powder on He Meiyue's hand. This kind of powder had a long-lasting fragrance. It wouldn't be washed off even after washing and bathing. It would be effective for at least 2 to 3 days. Zhang Duopan's purpose was for the masquerade party tomorrow. He wanted to recognize He Meiyue at the masquerade party, and then use this opportunity to make a request to He Meiyue. As for what the request was, it depended on He Meiyue's reaction. He naturally wanted a more excessive condition. As for the gold jewelry, he really didn't care much. It was just a medium to get in touch with He Meiyue. His annoyance was just to confuse Bai Weidua and He Meiyue. After Right Coiling Tiger got the tablet, he opened it immediately. However, he didn't know how to use this kind of high-tech product. After a long time, he still couldn't figure it out. In desperation, he searched for tutorials on the internet and finally found a file called Learning Experience Notes. With an incomparable excitement, Right Coiling Tiger opened the Learning Experience Notes. However, after one look, Right Coiling Tiger's face turned ugly. This was because the experience notes were not the notes of an alchemist at all, but the notes of Boss Bai's medical class. It recorded the content that Boss Bai usually talked about in class. Of course, there were some of Han Jingjing's own understanding and opinions, but they had nothing to do with alchemy. Right Coiling Tiger didn't want to study any medicinal properties, and he didn't want to prescribe medicine. What he wanted most was alchemy, but obviously not. "Fuck, I've been tricked again." Right Coiling Tiger gritted his teeth and smashed the tablet on the ground, stomping on it a few times. "Master Right, calm down, don't smash it. Let's go interrogate Lin." The blonde quickly stopped him, afraid that Right Coiling Tiger would break the tablet. "Interrogate my ass. Pig brain." Right Coiling Tiger said angrily, "The auction didn't say that this was the notes of an alchemist. Who am I supposed to go to? I'll be mocked if I go. I was wondering why it was so cheap. I thought I'd gotten a great deal. I didn't think I'd be screwed over. This Lin Yi really isn't a good person. Looks like I'll have to trade with him seriously." "That's true." The blonde nodded. He could only blame it on his bad luck. The masquerade party was held on time the next night. Lin Yi wore a male thief mask, Xinyan a pleasant goat mask, Mengyao a pretty goat mask, and Yushu a big wolf mask. Lin Yi and Xinyan entered the party separately from Mengyao and Yushu. Lin Yi didn't want to participate in an event like this, after all. He'd rather stay at home and train with Xinyan. But Yushu wanted to participate, and Lin Yi had no choice but to follow them with Xinyan. Lin Yi didn't dance or wander around after entering the party, but he found a corner and sat down. Xinyan, on the other hand, sat not too far from Lin. The two weren't very close, but it was just enough for Lin Yi to smell the fragrance and train. FF37, W03C9, 30 FB, off 4D. Chapter 2635. At the entrance of the ball, Zhao Qibing rushed over and saw Tiger Right waiting for him. He asked anxiously, "I say, Master Yu, do you have any ideas? Is Lin Yi here or not?" "He's here, I saw him just now," Yu Coiling Tiger said as he pulled out a photo from his phone and sent it to Qibing. "This is the one. Just use this mask to look for the person. This is Lin." Qibing nodded. Tiger Right had already gotten the image of the mask Lin Yi was wearing from Third Brother Yu. He stood at the entrance and naturally saw Lin Yi, so he told Zhao Qibing with certainty that Lin Yi was here. "Oh, that's good. I'll go and then, are you coming in? Zhao Qibing asked. I'll wait and see. Yu Coiling Tiger wanted to wait for Han Jingjing to see if she attended the ball. If she did, then he would be able to recognize Han Jingjing, and then use this opportunity to ask Han Jingjing for the alchemist's experience notes. He'd sent Huang Mao to stand guard in front of Han Jingjing's villa, so that he'd be the first to know what Han Jingjing was wearing if she were to go out. Unfortunately, Huang Mao had just called, saying that Han Jingjing's car was still parked in front of the villa. Lin Yi, Meng Yao, and Yu Shu were all there, but Han Jingjing wasn't. It went without saying that Han Jingjing wasn't interested in the masquerade ball. As for recognizing Lin Yi, Tiger Right wasn't interested. Although he could ask Lin Yi to give him Han Jingjing's notes, Lin Yi could just say that it was Han Jingjing's, not his, and he couldn't do it. Tiger Right's efforts would be in vain, so he might as well give this chance to Zhao Qibing. After waiting for a while, there was still no news from Blondie. Right Coiling Tiger also left the masquerade party. There was no point in staying here any longer. Pin Liang was here as well, with Xiaofu in tow. He only had one ticket, though, so he couldn't bring anyone in. He wanted to see if there were people who didn't want to go, or if they wanted to sell their tickets. Coincidentally, he bumped into Tiger Right, who was about to leave. Right Coiling Tiger, what are you doing? Pin Liang stopped Coiling Tiger left. Oh, young Master Zhong, what's the matter? Coiling Tiger Right put on a smiling face. He didn't really like Pin Liang, but he didn't dare offend the everyday and everyday sect. You're not going to the masquerade ball? Pin Liang asked. I'm not going. I have something else to do. Right Coiling Tiger shook his head, but he did not explain the real reason. Then where's your ticket? Pin Liang quickly asked. What are you doing here? Right Coiling Tiger was taken aback. He took out his admission ticket and asked. Just give it to me if you don't need it. I'm short one anyway. Pin Liang said. Oh, all right, I'll give it to you then. Right Coiling Tiger didn't mind as he gave his ticket to Pin Liang. Pin Liang thanked him and entered the masquerade ball with Xiaofu. Pin Liang's target this time was Meng Yao. He was tricked by Yu Shu at the auction, so he couldn't get close to Meng Yao. This masquerade ball was a chance he couldn't miss. Of course, he wouldn't make any unreasonable demands on Meng Yao. He just wanted Meng Yao to agree to go on a date with him. This request wasn't against the law, and it wouldn't put Meng Yao in a difficult position either. Meng Yao wouldn't be able to reject this request either. Wow. You're Wang Xinyan, I recognize you. The ball had just started, and Yu Shu pulled Meng Yao over to Pleasant Goat excitedly, pointing at her as she said, What's this? Shu, stop messing around. Lin Yi's practicing. Xinyan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. They came together, and they prepared the masks together. Naturally, Yu Shu would be able to recognize her. I'm not messing around, Xinyan sis. You've been recognized, so you have to agree to a request of mine. Yu Shu said with a straight face. That's the rule of the masquerade ball. It doesn't say that I can't meet someone I know before. All right, what do you want me to agree to? Xinyan said helplessly, but she was happy as well. The fact that Shu was messing around with her meant that Shu was slowly accepting her, acknowledging her position as a new member in the villa. Oh, let me think. Yu Shu pretended to be deep in thought. I got it. Xinyan sis, you want to be Shield Bro's girlfriend, right? Xinyan paused, not knowing what to say. I'm Xiaolong's fiancé, so I can't be Lin Yi's girlfriend, can I? I see. All right then, I'll owe it to you for now. Yu Shu was just testing the waters, and she didn't insist on it after Xinyan's rejection. Shu, stop messing around. The four of us will be easily recognized if we're together, Meng Yao said. Okay. Yu Shu nodded before leaving with Meng Yao. Xinyan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Did she owe Shu a favor just like that? There were more and more people in the ball, and the music was also playing. In the ball, people could go to the dance floor to dance, and they could also take some snacks from the free buffet area to enjoy on the surrounding tables. Lin Yi was in the middle of practicing when a man in a black mask ran over, giving Xinyan quite a fright. Although it was a masquerade ball, the man was dressed like a bank robber. Xinyan asked subconsciously, What are you doing? Huh, I recognize you. You're Lin. It was Zhao Qibing. He wasn't in the mood to participate in this masquerade ball. If it weren't for the fact that he wasn't allowed to enter with his face, he wouldn't even bother wearing the mask. Lin came back to his senses and looked at the masked man in front of him. Zhao Qibing, is there something wrong with you? What do you want? I recognize you. According to the rules of the ball, you have to promise me one thing. Zhao Qibing said. You're not going to go back on your words, are you? Oh, what is it? You're not asking me to break your legs again, are you? Lin Yi frowned. Ha Lin Yi boss, you're smart. That's right, hurry up and break my legs, I can't wait. Zhao Qibing was overjoyed that Lin Yi knew what he wanted. Chapter 2636. Then I'll change it. If you don't break my leg, you'll go play with me for a day. We'll go to the amusement park, just the two of us alone. We'll go on roller coasters and merry-go-rounds. Qibing said. That's not against the rules, right? You pick one. Lin Yi was speechless. He didn't think that Qibing would be this shameless, asking him to go to the amusement park with him. Lin Yi shook his head with a bitter smile. Fine, I'll break your leg then. Right here? Yes, right here. I've arranged everything. Break my leg and I'll tell them I fell myself. Yellow and purple hair are waiting for me at the door. Qibing said. All right. Lin Yi nodded helplessly, agreeing to it. He looked at Zhao Qibing and kicked him twice. Pa! Two crisp sounds. Qibing knelt down on the ground, but his face was filled with joy. Good, this is great. It's finally broken. Boss Lin Yi, thank you so much. You're so fast. You're even faster than a practitioner. You're like a professional killer on TV. I didn't even have time to react and my leg was already broken. Clean and fast. Amazing. All right, leave now. Don't stay here and get in the way. Lin Yi waved his hand impatiently. He was even more confused. This Qibing didn't look like an idiot. Why was he asking for his leg again and again? What was he trying to do? Could it be that he was practicing some kind of evil technique? Zhao Qibing quickly found the staff from the student council, and when the staff heard that his leg was broken, he jumped in fright. But Zhao Qibing didn't care at all. He let the staff drive him to the entrance, got into Uncle Zhu's car, and drove away. Pin Liang and Xiaofu, on the other hand, walked around the ball looking for Meng Yao. He didn't know what Meng Yao looked like, but he was looking for Yushu. He knew that the two of them should be together. Liang bro, is that big cow Yushu? Xiaofu found his target. He said quickly. Which one? Pin Liang paused and asked. It's that gray wolf over there, Gao Xiaofu said as he pointed to a spot not far away. Oh. Pin Liang took a closer look. As expected, a big wolf and a pretty sheep suited Meng Yao and Yushu's personalities. It was true that they liked to watch Happy Goat and Big Wolf. Yushu's chest, on the other hand, was unparalleled. Pin Liang was very sure that it was Meng Yao and Yushu. Come, let's go. All right. Xiaofu nodded and walked over with Pin Liang. You're Meng Yao, I recognize you. Pin Liang pointed at the sheep. Meng Yao didn't expect Pin Liang to be the first to recognize her. She was a little surprised and disgusted. He frowned. Zhong Pin Liang? Ha, it's me. Yao, you have to agree to one of my requests now? Pin Liang smiled proudly. What request? Meng Yao asked helplessly. Of course, I won't force you. I'm sure you can do it. Pin Liang said, how about we go on a date after the party? Let's go watch a movie? Meng Yao looked at Pin Liang oddly. Don't worry, it's just a date. It's not against the law. Let's go watch a movie, all right? Pin Liang knew Meng Yao very well. He knew how to control the boundaries. Meng Yao couldn't say no. But Shu and Lin Yi have to go together, Meng Yao said after some hesitation. Sure. Pin Liang didn't want Lin Yi and Yushu to be a third wheel, but he didn't want Meng Yao to retaliate. So he said yes. All right, let's go watch a movie then, Meng Yao nodded. But how did you recognize me? It's a secret, ha. Pin Liang glanced at Yushu's chest and left with Xiaofu with a smile. Pin Liang's weird gaze at the end stunned Meng Yao, but when she looked at Shu, she understood what was going on. She couldn't help but get angry. Shu, you idiot, it's all because of you that Pin Liang got us out. Meng Yao said angrily. What does that have to do with Shu? Yushu was confused. Can't you disguise your chest a little? A cow is still a cow even if it wears a mask. Meng Yao said angrily. Yao Yao, you're just jealous. Yushu didn't care. I don't have it even if you want it. Who cares? I'm looking for Lin. He can give me a breast enlargement anytime he wants. Meng Yao remembered that Lin could use acupuncture for breast enlargement. Then go look for him, Yushu said. Meng Yao glared at Yushu, but her eyes weren't as obvious under the mask, and Yushu ignored her. On the other side, Zhang Duopan recognized He Meiyue as well, but his conditions were a little too much. He wanted He Meiyue to be his girlfriend, and after He Meiyue rejected him, he went for a date with He Meiyue, which was more or less the same as Pinliang's request. After the masquerade party, Meng Yao, Yushu, Lin Yi, and Xinyan went to the movie theater. Pinliang's request wasn't too much, and it wasn't hard for Meng Yao to fulfill it. The 6 of them went to the movie theater, the biggest one near the university city. There were 4 theaters, and 4 different movies were being shown at the same time for students to choose from. There were a lot of people here, and most of them were couples, but everyone still wanted to watch the movie they liked. There had to be at least one movie that suited their taste. There was a romance movie, a horror movie, a detective movie, and the latest Hollywood movie. Pinliang, naturally, had his plans. Yao Yao, this is a new movie, and it's really good. Let's watch it? It's a 3D effect too, it'll be great. Pinliang liked horror movies, and he wanted to hold Meng Yao's hand when she got scared, to give her some comfort. Most importantly, he'd seen this movie before, and he knew the plot. He wouldn't be that scared anymore. Nope. Meng Yao, naturally, knew what Pinliang was thinking. She shook her head. I hate horror movies, I'll watch something else. Chapter 2637. A detective movie suits Detective Shu 007 style. Yushu suggested. A detective movie? That's fine too. Pinliang looked at the introduction of a detective movie. It was quite interesting and he'd watched it before. He could tell Meng Yao about the plot later. Since he couldn't watch a horror movie, he'd settle for a detective movie instead. The 6 of them bought movie tickets and walked into the cinema together. There weren't many students who came to this cinema to watch detective movies. Perhaps students liked horror and romance movies, but they weren't very interested in detective movies that were more logical and logical. After all, most of the people who came here were students on dates. Naturally, they wouldn't focus on watching movies. Horror movies and romance movies didn't matter, but detective movies were different. If they missed a plot, they might not be able to understand it. Therefore, most students wouldn't choose it. Lin Yi and the others arrived just in time. The movie hadn't started yet, and the staff were busy selling popcorn, drinks, and other snacks. The 4 of them found a row and sat down. Meng Yao didn't want to sit next to Pinliang, but there was nothing she could do about it. Meng Yao didn't want to go back on her words, and with Lin Yi there, Pinliang wouldn't do anything outrageous. It didn't take long for the movie to start, and Meng Yao focused all her attention on the movie. Yao Yao, do you want some? Pinliang asked Xiaofu to buy a bunch of snacks for Meng Yao. Oh, give it to Shu. Meng Yao passed it to Yushu, not keeping one for herself. Liangzi, you're so nice. You used to buy delicious food for me when we were in high school, and you still do it now. Yushu took a big bag of delicious food and shared some with Xinyan and Lin Yi, eating happily. Pinliang didn't know what to say, but he forced himself to speak. Hiya. Just wait until I become Meng Yao's bodyguard. Then I can buy it for you anytime, anywhere. Oh, good luck then. Are you going to challenge again? Yushu asked. Heh, I can't say for sure. Let me think about it. Pinliang wanted to challenge Lin Yi, and he wanted to do it in public. Otherwise, in private. He was afraid that Lin Yi would go back on his word and say that he never kept his word with bad guys. That way, Pinliang would win for nothing. Shu, can't food shut your mouth? Don't talk too much. Meng Yao frowned. Yushu was leading the conversation in a direction she didn't want to go. Hurry up and watch the movie, aren't you Detective Shu 007? This movie is quite interesting. Make a good deduction later. Oh, okay. Yushu shut her mouth. This movie's not that interesting. I don't even know what it's about. Pinliang wanted to say more, but Meng Yao didn't let him. He had no choice but to change the topic. This movie must be boring at the beginning, right? But we're about to enter the plot. Look, the servant is going to die soon. Dead? How did you know? Meng Yao frowned. I can deduce it. Pin Liang chuckled. Keep watching if you don't believe me. Sure enough, not long after, the murder happened, and the servant was really dead. However, Pin Liang's words pissed off a young man sitting in front of him. He turned around and glared at Pin Liang, telling him to shut up. Pin Liang, on the other hand, didn't know that he was trying to show off his superior reasoning skills. He continued to show off in front of Meng Yao. Look, I said it's the servant who's dead. Do you guys know who killed her? This case isn't complicated at all. Here's the truth. The scriptwriter led us wrongly. That old man is the murderer, not the customer. Pin Liang had seen the movie before, so he told Meng Yao who the murderer was and how he did it. Meng Yao didn't know what to say. She glared at Pin Liang. You said it yourself, what's the point of me looking at it? What's wrong with you? I just wanted to explain it to you beforehand. Pin Liang didn't think that he'd backfired. He'd wanted to please Meng Yao, but who knew that he'd made Meng Yao hate him even more after he'd told her who the murderer was. Brats, stand up. Pin Liang hadn't even finished when the young man on his right stood up and grabbed him by the collar. What are you doing? Pin Liang asked shocked. Do you know who I hate the most? The young man said angrily. I hate people like you who talk too much. No one thinks you're mute if you don't talk. How am I supposed to see it if you tell me who the murderer is? Pin Liang was just about to curse when he felt a sharp aura around him. He didn't want to lose face in front of Meng Yao. What does what I say have to do with you? Who do you think you are to control what others say? Do you know who I hate the most? I hate people like you who think they're the best. Why do you have to control what others say? Kid, are you looking for a fight? The young man said angrily. Lin Yi looked at the young man and was a little surprised. An Earth class? Which family was this master from? Why did he look so familiar? This person's face reminded Lin Yi of something, but he wasn't too sure about what it was. Practitioner? Pin Liang wasn't a high-leveled practitioner, not even a golden class. He had only learned some basic arts, and he was only half a foot into the door of a practitioner after coming back from the everyday sect. However, he could still feel the chi waves of a practitioner. He didn't know how strong this man was, but he was definitely a practitioner. The young man was surprised. You know about practitioners? I don't care which family or sect you're from. I'm telling you, I'm the disciple of the everyday sect's leader, Pure Yang Sky Master. My master won't let you go if you keep acting dumb. Pin Liang breathed a sigh of relief at the man's admittance. He was a practitioner, and even if he was a solo practitioner, he should have heard of the everyday sect. Chapter 2638. Why should I? Pin Liang didn't want to, but he didn't have the mid-tier golden cicada underwear anymore. He didn't dare use the centipede in front of Lin either. What if Lin Yi saw through him and decided not to fight him? Even if he wanted to use it, he would find a place where there was no one around. Therefore, although he was reluctant, he had already given in. I've introduced myself, but you haven't. Even if I apologize, you should at least let me know who you are, right? I'm Tang Yuqi, a detective from overseas, the young man said faintly. He was a famous detective overseas, and even if Pin Liang wanted revenge, he'd have to think about his identity first. The reason why he was angry was because he was a detective himself, a fan of deductions. He liked to analyze things on his own when he watched movies, and he'd just gotten into character when Pin Liang solved his deductions. It was only natural that he wasn't happy about it. Oh, a friend from overseas. Xiaofu, give him 100 kuai. Pin Liang found a way out of this embarrassing situation and had Xiaofu give Tang Yuqi 100 kuai. Sorry for bothering you. It's fine. Tang Yuqi took the 100 kuai and left the theater. Lin Yi frowned as he watched him leave. Lin Yi felt that the man looked familiar, as if he'd seen him somewhere before. But he was from overseas, and that confused Lin Yi. Could he have seen him on a mission before? That couldn't be. He didn't know anyone with the surname Tang. Could he be related to the Hidden House Tang? Tang Yuyu and Tang Yuqi. They sounded like brothers, but unfortunately, they probably weren't. Otherwise, one of them wouldn't be from a hidden family and the other an overseas detective. They were two completely unrelated people. As for the fact that they were both surnamed Tang and had the word Yu in their names, perhaps they were the same generation in the family tree. They might have been relatives a few hundred years ago. Plus, Tang Yuqi and Tang Yuqi didn't look very similar. Lin Yi found him familiar, but it wasn't because of Tang Yuqi. Tang Yuqi had already left, and Lin Yi shook his head and continued watching the movie. Pin Liang had learned his lesson this time and kept his mouth shut. He bore a grudge against Tang Yuqi in his heart. However, he knew that he couldn't do anything to Meng Yao. The most important thing right now was to become Meng Yao's bodyguard. Right now, he only had the centipede, but he didn't have any powerful moves. The centipede wasn't weak, but there were conditions to use it. Pin Liang was thinking, maybe he should wait until he defeated Lin Yi before asking his master for some treasures? Qibing and Uncle Zhu arrived at the floating cloud. Sihua ran out to welcome him. Master Bing, you did it? Sihua was overjoyed to see Qibing with a broken leg. Lin Yi did it? And he finally made his move. Qibing was helped into the room by Uncle Zhu. It's not easy, Lin Yi's getting smarter. He wouldn't break my leg easily, and now it's hard for him to make a move. I've practiced 1,000 kicks, and I still need 2 more times. Tell me, how can I make it 2 more times? I think we should ask for Lin Yi's help. Sihua said after some thought. None of us are good at it. Only Lin Yi can master it well. That's true, but it's hard for Lin Yi to make a move now. I spent a lot of effort this time, and I even had Tiger Right to help me. I don't think I'll have such a good chance next time. Qibing shook his head. How about this, Sihua? You keep an eye on Lin Yi, and try to rope him in with the people around him. Try to analyze his mentality, and see how we can make him break my leg again. Alright, got it. Sihua nodded. I'll give Lin Yi a free membership card tomorrow, and if Lin Yi accepts it, I'll ask him for help. Don't give it to Lin Yi, give it to Yushu. Lin Yi won't accept it, but it might be possible if you give it to Yushu. Qibing said after some thought. If Yushu agrees, she might be able to convince Lin Yi to beat me up. That works too, Sihua replied. Then I'll go back to the hidden house first. My leg is broken, and I need to apply some herbs for the 1,000 legs training. With that, Qibing said his goodbyes with Uncle Zhu. After returning to the hidden house, Qibing went back to his room to apply the medicine. Uncle Zhu, on the other hand, found a secluded place and called Lin. Lin Yi was watching a movie when his phone rang. He took it out and was surprised to see that it was Zhu's second. Lin Yi lowered his voice and picked up the phone. Boss, it's Zhu's second. I have something important to tell you, Uncle Zhu lowered his voice and said carefully. Oh, what is it? Lin, it's like this. You still don't know why Qibing wanted you to break his leg? Uncle Zhu asked. No, you do. Lin Yi was looking for a chance to ask Boss Zhu when Zhu's second called him first. And, didn't I recover my strength and break through? So Elder Zhao told me to follow Qibing around. Today was the first time I came out with him, and I asked him why he broke his leg on the way. Zhu's second said, actually, Zhao Qibing's practicing a technique called 1,000 legs, and this technique requires him to break his legs 9 times before he can learn the first form. Zhao Qibing broke his legs a couple of times before, but he's still lacking a few times, so he came to you for help. Oh? Is that so? Lin Yi was a little surprised. It really is a skill? But there's such an insane skill? Lin Yi had wondered if Qibing practiced some kind of skill before, but it was just a random guess. He didn't think that he would be right. Yes, but I'm not too sure about the specifics. I just started following Qibing and I can't ask him in detail. I'm afraid that he might get suspicious, Uncle Zhu said. Alright, keep an eye on him at all times. Also, if possible, make a copy of his technique for me to see. I want to see what it is. Lin Yi ordered. Okay, I'll keep an eye on it, Uncle Zhu replied. However, Uncle Zhu didn't pay attention to Qibing's phone call in his room. He didn't hear it, and it almost caused a lot of trouble. Chapter 2639. Qibing took out his phone and realized that it was an unfamiliar number. He hesitated, not wanting to answer it, so he hung up. What he didn't expect was that not long after, another call came in. Hello. Who is it? Qibing picked up impatiently. He was about to study his technique, and it was only natural that he wasn't happy to be interrupted. Zhao Qibing? I'm Yushan. A deep male voice came from the other side of the phone. Yushan? Qibing paused. He didn't know many people with the surname Yu, and Yushan seemed to be. He asked uncertainly, Yushan from the hidden house Yu? That's me, Yushan replied. We met a while ago. Ha, it's Yushan bro. Qibing looked down on Yushan, the cripple, but he was still a disciple of the hidden house Yu. His 1,000 kicks came from the hidden house Yu, so naturally he wouldn't offend them. Yushan bro, why did you call me all of a sudden? Ha, if that's the case, I'll call you Qibing bro then. Yushan smiled and changed his tone. There's some bad news I want to tell you bro. What news? Qibing paused. Bad news? That's right, Zhao Qijio from the Ice Palace. You know him, right? Yushan said, the one who was accepted into the Ice Palace with my brother Yu Bing, the one from your hidden house Zhao. Of course I do, but what about him? Qibing's heart skipped a beat, but he still asked calmly. He got 100,000-year treasure in the Outer Disciples test, and the sect master gave him a few pills, some of which were lost recipes between the small qi-gathering pill and the normal qi-gathering pill. I don't know what they're called, but they can raise the level of an earth class and above, and they don't have the side effects of the qi-gathering pill. There's only one of these pills left, and the fact that they were given to Zhao Qijio shows how lucky he is. Yushan couldn't help but feel angry as he said that. Lin Yu Bing, if it weren't for you guys, I would have been the one staying in the Ice Palace. I would have been the one finding the 100,000-year treasure. One had to say that after becoming a cripple, Yushan's mind had become twisted. He never thought about why he was crippled, nor did he think about the evil things he wanted to do before. All he could think about was hatred towards Lin Yi and Yu Bing. He knew that he was done for in this life, his strength and position were gone, and so he wanted vengeance. He wanted Lin Yi and Yu Bing to regret for the rest of their lives. But he couldn't do it with his own strength, so he had to borrow the strength of others. Just when Yushan couldn't think of a good solution, Zhao Qibing came to visit House Yu. His interest in Yuning suddenly gave Yushan hope, and he thought of a good idea. What's his strength now? Qibing was shocked. He had relied on the pills he got from the auction to become an earth class, so naturally he wouldn't put Qikuan and Qijio in his eyes. He was going to learn the 1,000 kick skill soon too, and he'd be even more powerful in the future. So as his strength increased, he didn't care about Qijio going to the Ice Palace anymore. What he didn't expect was for Yushan to bring news like this. According to what Yu Bing said, Qijio's strength went from Mystic Late Phase Peak to Earth Class Late Phase Peak after taking the pill, and he's currently in closed-door training to break through to Sky Class. Yushan was exaggerating a little. Qijio did find 100,000-years-old treasure, and the sect master did give him some pills as well. After taking them, he could break through to Earth Class Late Phase Peak. But the so-called isolation to break through to Sky Class was just something he made up. Even if the pills had the best effect and made Qijio an Earth Class Late Phase Peak, how could someone break through to Sky Class right after reaching Earth Class Late Phase Peak? But Zhao Qibing was too worried, and he didn't know how powerful the long-lost elixir was. He was shocked. What? He's breaking through to Sky Class? Doesn't that mean that compared to my grandpa? Qibing was scared. Old Zhao was only a Sky Class early phase, and if Qijio were to become a Sky Class early phase, then if he still supported Qikuan, there wouldn't be a position for Qibing. That's right, so I told you the moment I got the news. Yushan said, Qibing lil bro, I felt like we were fated to get along that day, and I really want you to take over. I don't want that Zhao Qijio or Zhao Qikuan to get too powerful. What should I do? Yushan bro, you must have a way to solve this, right? Qibing quickly asked. I don't have a way. Yushan shook his head. Unless you increase your strength as well, there's nothing you can do. I'm only telling you this so that you can prepare in advance. That way, you won't be caught off guard. Qibing was dumbfounded. He was full of confidence before, but who would have thought that Qijio would be this strong? Qibing lil bro, actually, I feel that if our hidden house Yu supports you, then even if Chijiao becomes a sky class, there's nothing to be afraid of. Only then did Yushan say what he wanted to say, but he pretended to be emotional. Our hidden house has 2 sky class masters, and one of them is even a sky class early phase peak. With Elder Zhao, that's 3 sky class masters. 3 against 1, can't we beat Zhao Chijiao? That's true, but why would your hidden house support me? Qibing frowned. Unless Yu Ning can marry me. Otherwise, your grandpa and the others wouldn't interfere with House Zhao's business. Yu Ning, then there's nothing I can do. You can only rely on yourself. Yushan smiled bitterly. Right, Yushan bro, you and Yu Ning are siblings. Do you have any good ideas for me to pursue her? Zhao Qibing's heart skipped a beat as he asked. Chapter 2640. That's true, Qibing nodded. It wasn't just Yushan, it was the same for him as well. But Yu Ning was different from those girls. She was a girl from a respectable family, so it was impossible for her to throw herself at him. As for forcing herself on him, Qibing's heart suddenly moved. If they really did do it with House Yu's status, they wouldn't announce it publicly for the sake of their status and reputation. Qibing wasn't some nobody, he was the heir of the hidden House Zhao. As long as he was willing to take responsibility, the hidden House Yu wouldn't say anything, would they? With that thought, Qibing's heart began to stir. Yushan bro, what do you think? If I forced myself on Yu Ning, what would your grandpa's attitude be like? Qibing bro, it can't be, right? How could you have such a thought? Yushan was shocked, but he was excited that Qibing would fall into his trap. Let me tell you, our hidden House Yu isn't a normal house. If you do this, things will get out of hand, and you'll be in trouble. Trouble? What trouble can there be? You can't kill me, can you? The hidden House Yu isn't a normal house, and the hidden House Zhao is? Besides, I'm the heir of the hidden House Zhao. As long as I take responsibility for Yu Ning, it'll be fine, right? Don't wash your dirty linen in public. Getting married as soon as possible is the right thing to do. Qibing didn't think much of it. He felt that Yushan had become a lot more timid after becoming a cripple, and he didn't think things through properly anymore. That seems to make sense? Yushan hesitated for a while and said, but the point is, even if you want to force yourself on her, you won't have the chance. Yu Ning stays in the hidden House Yu all the time. Oh, aren't you the spy, Yushan bro? Qibing laughed and probed. He didn't know that he was probing Yushan, but it was Yushan who led him to this topic step by step. Yushan was scared and stuttered. Don't joke around, Qibing bro, I'm a cripple, how can I be the spy? My position in the hidden House Yu is very low right now, don't drag me down. A big brother Yushan, how could I harm you? If I really do it with Yu Ning, then I'll be your brother-in-law. Qibing said, Yushan bro, you have to help me with this. How can I help you? Do you want me to trick Yu Ning out so that you can force yourself on me? That won't do, really won't do. Yushan shook his head and denied it. But it was one thing for him to deny it, but why did he mention a method to hint at Zhao Qibing? He had to admit that he had ulterior motives. It's very simple. Didn't Big Brother Yushan say it? As long as you find a chance to trick Yu Ning out, then everything will be solved. Brother Yushan, I beg you, as long as you help me, then I will definitely not forget your kindness in the future as long as I am promoted. Qibing couldn't help but want to complete this plan. What happened to Zhao Chijiao had stimulated him, and he indeed wanted House Yu's help. Besides, he really did like Yu Ning, so no matter how he looked at it, he wouldn't lose anything. When I become the head of the house, there will be benefits for you. I'm a cripple, what benefits do I need? Yushan smiled bitterly. Brother Qibing, I can't become the head of the house. I'm a cripple, I just want to live the life of a rich young master. I don't want to do those risky things. Don't. Qibing panicked. The desire in his heart was aroused, and if he didn't fulfill it, he wouldn't be able to eat and sleep in peace. Big brother Yushan, although you're a cripple, that doesn't stop you from becoming the external elder of the house. You can take care of House Yu's business in the common world and take care of the family's food. As long as you have power in your hands, you might be able to recover. As far as I know, the 3rd level pill, Great Recovery Pill, should be able to heal your injuries, right? Your injuries may be serious, but in reality, it's not incurable, right? Third-level Great Recovery Pill? A glimmer of hope flashed in Yushan's eyes, but it quickly dimmed. Not to mention a hidden house, even an ancient sect would have a hard time getting a third-level medicinal pill. What did the hidden house do? How could they get their hands on a third-level medicinal pill? Besides, even if they got a third-level pill with his current position in House Yu wouldn't let him use it. Even if there was a sliver of hope, he wouldn't choose to take revenge, he would choose to take the risk. Yushan was injured by Lin Yi when he was still a mystic, and it wasn't that serious. One great recovery pill was enough to heal him, but with House Yu's cold attitude and Elder Yu's disappointment in him, Yushan couldn't see any more hope. He knew that he had been abandoned. Ever since Elder Yu found out the truth, there was no chance for him to recover. It was already good enough that he could live a peaceful life as a rich young master. House Yu had already shown him mercy by not kicking him out of the house. Yeah, it's not like there's no hope. Qibing said, as long as you have the power in House Yu's hands, everything will be fine, right? That's true. Yushan didn't think much of it, but these are all secondary. If you want me to help you, sure, but you have to promise me one thing. What is it? Qibing asked quickly. One day, when you're strong enough, you have to help me get rid of Lin Yi. He was the one who injured me, and he's the person I hate the most. You have to promise me that you'll help me get revenge, then I'll help you. Yushan said after a pause. Lin Yi? Qibing paused and smiled bitterly. My hatred for him isn't any less than yours, but I'm not his opponent. What I'm saying is that one day, when you're strong enough, you have to help me get revenge. If not, I won't force you, Yushan said in his heart. It didn't matter if Lin Yi died or not. He wanted Yu Bing dead the most. Yushan, naturally, knew about what happened between Yu Ning and Lin Yi, so giving Yu Ning to Qibing was equivalent to taking revenge on Lin Yi. Yu Ning's identity was a bit special, and she couldn't lose her virginity. Yushan actually knew a thing or two about it, but he didn't know the details. But that didn't stop him from going against House Yu. Chapter 2641. His position in House Yu was no different from the normal disciples. There was no happiness in his life at all. The only thing that kept him going was vengeance. Now that he had his revenge, he was dead. From a practitioner and a competitor for the position of heir to a crippled and abandoned pawn, no one would feel good about this. One day? Of course, that's not a problem. Qibing breathed out in relief and agreed. He didn't need Yushan to say anything. Even if he didn't, with his strength, he wouldn't let Lin Yi go. All right, I'll take the risk and help you this once, but you can't sell me out after this. You have to take all the responsibility. Yushan said. All right, no problem. Zhao Qibing agreed without a second thought. After all, he was going to have a showdown with House Yu after forcing himself on them. Instead of dragging Yushan into this, he might as well take the responsibility himself. To him, the result was the same, but to Yushan, it was definitely harming him. If that's the case, I'll think of something. Let's see if I can ask Yu Ning out for a walk after 2 days of meals. Then you can bring some men and knock us out, kidnap Yu Ning, and then you can carry out your plan, Yushan said. Yushan said. This was actually a plan he'd thought of before, but if he'd told Qibing directly, Qibing would have been suspicious and might even report him to House Yu. But he slowly brought up the topic from Qijio, and it didn't seem too sudden at all. In the end, it seemed like Qibing was the one who'd asked for it, and Yushan had no choice but to agree. All right, let me know in advance. It'll take me 3 hours to get to the hidden House Yu from here. I need to prepare in advance. Qibing nodded. Then what are you preparing for? Why don't you just come over today and wait for me? Yushan said. All right, I'll be there right away. Qibing quickly replied. After hanging up, Qibing's emotions were surging. This trick was a little despicable, but to him, it wasn't dangerous at all. He didn't know that Yu Ning was the inheritor, and he didn't know how important Yu Ning was to House Yu and that place. That was why he fell for Yushan's trick and took the bait. If he knew that there was such a powerful force behind Yu Ning, he would be scared to death. But that was the way of the world. Ignorance was bliss, and Qibing felt that even if Elder Yu wasn't willing, he would still agree to the marriage proposal. He was the future head of the hidden house Zhao, after all, and it wouldn't be a loss for Yu Ning to marry him. However, Zhao Qibing didn't lose his rationality. After the excitement, he didn't act on his own and went to Elder Zhao's place. Master Bing, are you looking for the old patriarch? Elder Mian smiled as he looked at Qibing. He wasn't as experienced as Elder Bai, and naturally he couldn't be as arrogant as Elder Bai, supporting whoever he wanted to be the next head of the house. Elder Mian, on the other hand, was trying to please Qibing for his own position. Yes, Elder Mian, is my grandpa here? Qibing nodded. He's here. The old patriarch has just finished his training. Master Bing, you can go in directly, Elder Mian said. All right, thank you, Elder Mian. Zhao Qibing nodded and entered the courtyard where Elder Zhao practiced. Elder Zhao had just finished his training when he heard the voice outside the door. Qibing, didn't you just break your leg? Why are you still walking around? Oh, I used a small recovery pill, Grandpa. It's fine now, Qibing said. Qibing said, Grandpa, I have something important to ask you. Can you see if it's possible? Oh? What is it, tell me? Elder Zhao signaled for Qibing to continue. It's like this. Qibing told old Zhao about how Qijio was lucky enough to find 100,000-year treasure and the elixir, as well as how he wanted to get House Yu's support and forced himself on Yuning. He told old Zhao all about it. What? You're saying that Qijio is breaking through to Sky Class? Elder Zhao's heart skipped a beat. He didn't think that Qijio would have something like this. This was completely out of his expectations. At this moment, he even regretted treating Qikuan like this. If he gave up on Qibing and supported Qikuan, then House Zhao would have 2 Sky Class Masters in the future. But that would be a little unfair to Qibing. After all, he was the one who gave him the Sky Class, and there was no turning back now. The hidden House Zhao had already signed Qikuan up for the Sky Elixir School's test, and there was no turning back now. He had no choice but to go through with it. So, the most important thing now was to kidnap House Yu onto Qibing's chariot. As long as House Yu supported Qibing, then Qijio wouldn't be able to do anything even if he was a Sky Class. House Yu had 2 Sky Class Masters, and one of them was Sky Class Early Phase Peak. Qijio wouldn't be able to do anything. So, as for what Qibing said about forcing Yuning, Elder Zhao didn't think it was good for House Zhao's reputation, but from a profit perspective, it was still doable. The marriage between Zhao Guangyin and Yu Shaojin had benefited the Hidden House a lot over the years. The Hidden House didn't have a Sky Class before, and they were at the bottom of the Hidden House hierarchy. They were only slightly stronger than the Hidden House Han. But with House Yu's help, House Zhao's position slowly rose. Although Elder Zhao was a Sky Class now compared to the Hidden House Yu, House Zhao was still much weaker. Because of the Qi gathering pill, the relationship between House Zhao and House Yu had fallen to a freezing point. If Qibing could get the beauty back, then the 2 houses would be on good terms again, and this was a good thing for House Zhao. The only thing that worried old Zhao was Yushan's goal. Old Zhao was a shrewd man, and naturally he didn't believe that Yushan would be so kind as to report to Qibing and help him out of the goodness of his heart. It didn't seem realistic. Yushan, that's what he told you? I feel like his goal isn't that simple. Elder Zhao said. It's weird that he told you about Qijio. You don't know him at all, you've only met him once. If it were you, would you do that? Chapter 2642. FF37, FF18, XFF 33. FF23, OMU 85C0F, 8BF4, 66F4, 65B0, 6700, 5 February, 5C0F, 8BF4, 9605, 8BFB, 7F51. Oh? You're saying, oh right, Yushan is crippled. His position in the Hidden House must be dropping, especially after what he did to Yu Bing in the Ice Palace test. It'd be weird if Yu Shaochen treated him nicely. I can't blame him for looking for someone else. Elder Zhao nodded. He wants me to get revenge on Lin. This. Zhao Qibing was a little worried after hearing what Elder Yu said. I'm not afraid of that. I think it's just an excuse. There are some things he can't say. You said that you'll help him become an elder of House Yu, and he didn't object to it, did he? I think he doesn't want to be a cripple for the rest of his life, so he wants to get some benefits from you. Elder Zhao analyzed. Grandpa, you're the best, hitting the nail on the head. I didn't think of that. Zhao Qibing said respectfully. Haha, but it's fine. If we do this well, it'll be beneficial for us. We can help you, Shan, in the future. After all, we shouldn't forget the person who dug the well. Elder Zhao nodded, but this is a very important matter. You have to do it well, don't mess it up. If you mess it up, then our relationship with the hidden house you will be irreparable. It'll be impossible for you to propose again. Elder Yu seems to love Yuning a lot, so you either succeed or don't do it. We can't afford the consequences of failure. I understand. Zhao Qibing nodded happily. Grandpa said this, so it meant that he agreed with what he was doing. Let's keep a low profile for this. You only need to bring one man to help. There are too many people, and if the news gets leaked, then it won't be fun anymore. Elder Zhao reminded, also, don't say anything to this man before the execution of the plan, just in case he leaks the news. Don't worry, Grandpa. I know what I'm doing, Qibing replied. Elder Bai's gone. Why don't you let him follow you? I trust him. Old Zhao sighed. Elder Mian is fine, but I've been asking him to help me look for Sky-class weapons these days. He's in contact with the Cultivator Trade Association, so he can't leave. How about this? In our family, who is your most trusted subordinate? Uncle Zhu. Then he's the first one to follow me, and he's one of my loyal dogs. Why don't we bring him along? Qibing said after some thought. Sure, but don't mention the word lackey in the future. You're the young patriarch, so you need to learn how to win people's hearts. You have to be more respectful to him, Old Man Zhao reminded. Grandfather. Of course I know that, I'm just saying it in front of you. Actually, I'm quite good at winning people's hearts. Uncle Zhu and his brother Boss Zhu were so touched by my words that they swore to follow me until their deaths. Qibing smiled proudly. That's right. Yes, it's about the principles of controlling subordinates. I'll explain it to you in the future. This is a necessary skill for a young patriarch. Go do what you need to do first. We'll talk about it when we get back. Old Zhao nodded and said to Qibing. Zhao Qibing left Elder Zhao's place and found Uncle Zhu. Uncle Zhu, prepare the car now. We're going out for a while. We have something to do. Now. Uncle Zhu paused. Master Bing, didn't we just come back? What are we going to do? Don't ask so much, you'll know when we get there. Qibing didn't explain too much. He remembered Old Zhao's words, to be careful and not leak the news. Yes. Uncle Zhu quickly nodded and went to prepare the car. Ice Palace. In the outer sect disciple dormitory, there was a most luxurious dormitory. This was where the outer sect disciple with the highest status lived, which was also the head deacon of the outer sect disciples. He was in charge of all the outer sect disciples' training, as well as the distribution of rewards and punishments, as well as the distribution of monthly stipends. Most importantly, the head deacon didn't have to do all the chores of the outer disciples. He just had to say a few words and it would be done. The rest of the time, they could train peacefully like the inner disciples, and they had all the privileges of an inner disciple. Apart from not being able to live with inner disciples, the monthly allowance and cultivation resources they enjoyed were no different from inner disciples. Even the ordinary inner disciples had to respectfully address the head deacon of the outer disciples as senior brother. The head deacon of the Ice Palace, on the other hand, was Yu Bing. Of course, this was also because of Xiaoxiao. Yu Bing's potential was good, but he wouldn't be able to get this position otherwise. It was no different from an inner disciple, even higher than an inner disciple. Now, the Ice Palace's outer sect had a new vice deacon. It was Zhao Qijiu, the one who found the 100,000-year treasure. Although Zhao Qijiu was also arranged to stay in the dorm next door, he was close to Yu Bing. They were both Lin Yi's lackeys, and so their relationship was quite good. According to past management, there would always be differences between the two, but Yu Bing and Zhao Qijiu didn't. Both of them got their positions because of their relationship with Lin Yi, with Xiaoxiao's approval. They belonged to the same faction in the Ice Palace, and they were both Mrs. Lin Yi's subordinates. What was there to argue about? And so, the two just moved to the same villa, exchanging pointers and training experiences, and the two improved at lightning speed. After all, the qi here was thick and there were plenty of resources. The two were at the top of the food chain, and their lives were as carefree as they could get. You're not planning on using those pills? Yu Bing looked at Qijiu, not quite comprehending. Ever since Chijio got those pills, he'd kept them away, not using them at all. Yubing didn't want to ask too much, since they belonged to him. Asking too much would make Chijio misunderstand and think that he was asking for them. But after a while, Chijio didn't use them, and Yubing couldn't help but ask. Me? Chijio paused and smiled bitterly. You didn't ask me for so long, I thought you knew my goal. I didn't think that you really didn't know, so you asked me out of curiosity. People are always curious when they see something they don't understand, I'm no exception. Yubing paused for a second before smiling. Training pills are things that should be done sooner rather than later. The small chi gathering pills you have now can help you break through to the Earth class, but once you become an Earth class, the small chi gathering pills won't be of much use anymore. FF37, W03C9, 30 FB, RAW 4D. Chapter 2643. FF37, FF18, XFF33. FF23, OMU 85C0F, 8BF4, 66F4, 65B0, 6700, 5 February, 5C0F, 8BF4, 9605, 8BFB, 7F51. Of course I know that, but I want to keep the pills and give them to Boss Lin E and Master Tan when I see them. Chijio shook his head and said firmly, Master Tan helped me and Boss Lin E saved both of our lives. As the saying goes, a drop of water should be repaid with a spring. I, Chijio, am not that strong, and I don't want to be some master. All I can do is try my best to repay Master Tan and Boss Lin. Leaving these pills for them is natural. Plus, these pills were given to us by the first madam. If it weren't for her relationship with the vice sect leader, how could I have gotten these pills? Those 100,000-year-old treasures grew in the Ice Palace, and if I didn't find them, it'd be good enough if someone gave me one. Why would she give me so many? That's true. Yubing couldn't help but be moved by Chijio's words. He didn't expect Chijio to be so loyal to Lin Yi and Chikuan. But, Yubing thought about himself. If he were the one who got the pills, would he have given them to Lin Yi? The answer was obvious. Yubing would have done that. He was able to keep his life from Yushan, stay in the Ice Palace to train, and become an outer sect deacon, all because of Lin. If it weren't for Lin Yi, he might have died long ago. And so, Yubing's gratitude towards Lin Yi was no less than Chijio's. When Chijio said that he wanted to leave the pills behind, he understood what he was thinking. But he still tried to persuade him. It's been so long, Lin Yi must have broken through Mystic to Earth. He might be close to Sky Class now. I think you should take the small chi gathering pills yourself, and leave the middle ones for Boss Lin. Actually, I'm leaving the small chi gathering pills for Master Tan. Chijio smiled. Yubing, you don't have to persuade me, I've made up my mind. I won't touch these pills, I'd rather train myself. Alright, if that's the case, let's work hard together. Yubing nodded. In actuality, Xiaoxiao really wanted to give these pills to Lin Yi directly, but she couldn't. Bing Tang had a promise with Lin. If Lin Yi couldn't make the Ice Heart Jade Bone pill within 2 years, she'd have to accept the inheritance. If Lin Yi could become a Sky Class Late Phase Peak, or a Golden Class Level 3 Alchemist, Bing Tang would become Lin Yi's little wife. So, Xiaoxiao couldn't help Lin Yi in the dark, and Bing Tang wouldn't allow it. And so, the only thing Xiaoxiao could do now was to give these pills to Lin Yi's followers so that they could grow as fast as possible and become Lin Yi's helpers in the future. What Xiaoxiao didn't expect, however, was that Chijio was this loyal. She was leaving the pills for Lin Yi. But what Xiaoxiao didn't know was that while she was thinking about Lin Yi, Bing Tang was also secretly paying attention to Lin Yi. Lin Yi promised her that he could make the Ice Heart Jade Bone pill within 2 years, but Bing Tang didn't really believe him. So, naturally, she paid more attention to Lin Yi. Of course, there was another reason as well. Bing Tang had once said that if Lin Yi became a Golden Class Level 3 Alchemist, or a Sky Class Late Phase Peak, she'd marry Lin Yi to be his little wife. Bing Tang was worried that Lin Yi would accidentally achieve his goal. Should she marry him or not? This was a problem that Bing Tang was very conflicted about, especially after seeing Lin Yi's strength increase by leaps and bounds. He went from Mystic Late Phase to Earth Mid Phase Peak when they first met in the Ice Palace. What surprised Bing Tang the most was that Lin Yi was actually selling a bunch of level 2 pills in the practitioners' exchanges market, and they were all high-quality pills. Could it be that Lin Yi had become a level 2 alchemist in such a short time? One had to know that many alchemists couldn't even reach the second rank in their lifetime. Moreover, even if they were a second-rank alchemist, it was impossible for them to create a pill that was as full as Lin Yi's. This situation made Bing Tang both surprised and confused. But she wasn't going to tell Xiaoxiao these things. She was the vice leader of the Ice Palace now, but she was only in charge of the internal affairs. Contact with the outside world was still in Bing Tang's hands, and getting information through Manager Li wasn't something Xiaoxiao could interfere with. That night, Lin Yi drove off with Meng Yao, Yu Shu, and Xin Yan after the movie was over. Pin Liang had successfully gone on a date with Meng Yao, but the two hadn't made any headway in their relationship at all. It was worse than before because of his big mouth. Liang bro, it's all that Tang Yuqi's fault. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't be so useless today. Xiaofu said angrily. Tang Yuqi? Whatever, let's ignore him for now. Pin Liang said with a frown. I can see now that Yushu's an ungrateful wretch. I gave her so many benefits and she sold me out in the blink of an eye. If I want to get close to Yao Yao, the biggest obstacle isn't Lin Yi, it's her. Oh? Then what do we do? Get rid of her? Xiaofu made a throat-slitting gesture. He'd seen a lot of bloody things in the Tomorrow and Everyday sect recently, and he'd become colder to human life. I don't think we can do that. It's a bit difficult, and Lin Yi isn't someone to be trifled with. If Yu Shu were to die out of nowhere, he'd definitely suspect me. Pin Liang said. But, in order to make sure that this girl doesn't come and cause trouble for Lin Yi, I'm planning on getting the drunken centipede to bite that Yu Shu girl before the fight starts. She'll pass out, so she won't cause any more trouble. Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll get rid of that girl and cause trouble for Lin Yi at the same time. 2 birds with 1 stone. Xiaofu said in agreement. Then it's settled. Pin Liang came up with a plan in a few sentences. Tomorrow morning, I'll go to the school's broadcast room and announce that I'm going to challenge Lin Yi. The school's charity party this time was very successful, and the total amount raised was over 100 million. Of course, Pin Liang and Qibing took up the majority of the money. The other bosses and celebrities didn't donate as much. The ones who donated more than 10 million, the ones who donated less than 100,000, and the ones who donated less than 10,000 were very common. The amount of money raised surprised the school. It was a lot more than the previous years. Of course, this was also due to Pin Liang and Qibing's efforts. Although no one knew why the two would give such a high price, as long as they had a heart, it was fine. If they didn't say anything, no one would ask FF37, W03C9, 30FB, off 4D. Chapter 2644. FF37, FF18, XFF33. FF23, OMU 85C0F, 8BF4, 66F4, 65B0, 6700, 5 February, 5C0F, 8BF4, 9605, 8BFB, 7F51. The next morning, Lin Yi called Yu Xiaoka and told her the good news. However, Lin Yi didn't feel any happiness from Yu Xiaoka's tone. Lin Yi was confused. Yu Xiaoka, are you unhappy? I'm happy, Yu Xiaoka said weakly, but her heart was in a mess. Why did Lin Yi call her for the school's donation money? Did it show that he cared about her? Yu Xiaoka couldn't help but think too much. She couldn't help it. Once she misunderstood Lin Yi, no matter what Lin Yi did, she would think that Lin Yi had special feelings for her. What's wrong? Are you not feeling well? Lin Yi asked with concern. Although Lin Yi's identity was Lin Yi, he was still a male thief. These two identities would overlap in front of Yu Xiaoka, so it was reasonable that Lin Yi showed special care for Yu Xiaoka. I'm fine, I'm fine. Yu Xiaoka was on her period these few days, and she was indeed in a bad mood. But she couldn't tell Lin Yi about this. She didn't think that their relationship was that good. Oh, never mind then. I'll bring the donation over in a few days and visit the orphanage. Lin Yi didn't think too much about it. Don't come, Yu Xiaoka said subconsciously, but after saying it, she felt that she was overreacting. So she quickly changed her words. I mean, how are you going to bring that much money? You can just send it over directly. What if you lose it? Remittance? That's fine, but the charity money is in the school's account for now. The school's finance department gives you a check, so you just need to exchange it at the bank. Let me see, I'll exchange it for you when I'm free, Lin said. Alright, then send the money after you exchange it. I'll send you the orphanage's account in a bit. Xiaoka said. Sure, Lin didn't think much of it. After all, it was troublesome for him to go to Songshan personally. Lin just arrived at the classroom. A familiar male voice came from the loudspeaker in the school broadcasting room. Hello, 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 can you hear me? Whether it was in the classroom, the playground, or the students resting in the dormitory, they were all stunned when they heard this sound. It was rare for the school broadcast to have this kind of sound test. Only those who were not familiar with the broadcast would do this. Hello, everyone. I'm Zhong Pingliang. I believe everyone knows me, so I don't need to introduce myself. Pingliang's voice came through the speakers once more. I'm here to announce something important. I'm going to challenge Lin to a sparring match. The time will be 1 in the afternoon, and the venue will be the school's small field. I'd like to invite all of you to come watch. Thank you, everyone. I'll be waiting for you there. Don't be afraid to come. Whoever doesn't come is a coward, a son of a bitch. Zhong Pingliang wanted to announce the challenge at the auction last night, but because of Yushu's interference, he had no choice but to announce it in the broadcasting room in the morning. It took him a long time to get the approval of the student council before he came to the broadcasting room to issue the letter of challenge. The school didn't forbid students from sparring. As long as it wasn't too big of a commotion, the school wouldn't interfere. But Zhong Pingliang's challenge was a bit vulgar. He might even get punished, but Zhong Pingliang didn't care. As long as he could become Mingyao's bodyguard, it was all worth it. He was afraid that Lin wouldn't accept the challenge, so he had to say it out loud. Lin listened to Zhong Pingliang's challenge on the loudspeaker. Lin was astonished. The kid was challenging again? Did he have some trump card up his sleeve? Donghai Engineering University's campus echoed with Pingliang's declaration of war. Yushu and Meng Yao, who were in the economics department's classroom, naturally heard the news as well. Yao, Zhong Pingliang really has a purpose this time. He must have gotten some new treasure from the everyday and everyday sect, or else he wouldn't have agreed to fight Shield Bro, Yushu said. But he doesn't have Zhong Pingliang's golden cicada underwear. Won't he just get beaten up? Who knows? Mengyao shook her head. Why didn't I see it yesterday? His disguise was good enough. Yeah, I'll go check it out during lunch break, see if I can find out what trump card Zhong Pingliang has up his sleeve. Yushu said. I'll leave this mission to Detective Shu 007. Then be careful. Mengyao nodded after some hesitation. She didn't want Lin to lose. Knowing your enemy was the key to victory, but she still reminded him. Zhong Pingliang seems to have his guard up against you. Don't force it if you really can't do it. Yeah, I know. Yushu nodded. At noon, Yushu called Pingliang as soon as class ended. Shu, what's up? Zhong Pingliang hated Yushu to the core, but he still acted friendly on the outside. He couldn't help it, since Yushu was Mingyao's best friend. Liangyi, where are you? Why are you challenging Shield Bro again? Are you sure you can win? Yushu probed. Zhong Pingliang already knew that Yushu was definitely with Lin, not him. He also knew that Yushu was probably here for information. He'd been taken advantage of once, so there was no way he'd let that happen again. He'd been thinking of asking Yushu to come out as well. He wanted to release the centipede to bite her, knock her out, and mess up his mood. He'd been thinking of an excuse to ask her out, but Yushu came to him on her own. Pingliang was overjoyed, but didn't let it show on his face. I'm in the little park behind the school, practicing my martial arts. You'll know if I'm confident or not if you come and see my ultimate move, won't you? You have an ultimate move? Then I'll have to see it for myself. Yushu wasn't expecting Zhong Pingliang to agree so quickly. Then wait for me at the park behind the school, I'll be there right away. Wait. Zhong Pingliang suddenly changed the topic. You're not here to get information for Lin, are you? Did you steal my Zhong Pingliang's golden cicada underwear last time? What? Mid-class golden cicada underwear? What's that? Is it the same thing as Zhong Pingliang's golden cicada underwear? Yushu asked. You don't know? It's nothing. You do it then. Pinliang said, feigning his attack. FF37, W03C9, 30 FB, off 4D. Chapter 2645. 10 minutes later, Yushu arrived at the park behind the school. There'd be a lot of couples dating here if it were summer, but it was winter now, and the weather was cold. There weren't many people here, and Pinliang, on the other hand, was at a flower bed by the side of the fountain, practicing some moves he didn't know what they were doing. In actuality, Pinliang was just following the moves blindly. He couldn't use the moves yet, but he could mimic the moves. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to do anything if Lin Yi fainted on stage. Liang Yi? Yushu was a little puzzled when she saw that Pinliang was really practicing. Did this guy have some sort of inheritance? How did he become a practitioner? Oh, Shu, you're here? Pinliang stopped practicing and called out to Xiaofu. Xiaofu, go get some drinks. This was something they'd agreed on beforehand. Xiaofu would spray some bait on the drinks, luring the centipede to bite Yushu without anyone noticing. Even Yushu herself wouldn't know. Okay, Liang bro. Xiaofu went to get the drinks while Pinliang sat on the flower bed nearby. Shu, tell me the truth. Do you think I'm Mingyao's bodyguard or not? Why do I feel like you've been messing with me this whole time? About this, I can tell you the truth. When Shield Bro first came here, he was tricked by us many times. But Shield Bro always dodged us and didn't let us trick him. This is the only way to become Yao Yao Sis's bodyguard. Yushu said. As the saying goes, you need to be strong to forge iron. A gentleman can't blame himself for training. You've been messed with, and that only means that you're not strong enough. You need more experience. I see. Pinliang thought about it. Yushu's words made sense. It was true that they didn't like Lin Yi at first, and even encouraged him to teach Lin Yi a lesson. It seemed that Yushu wasn't lying this time. But that didn't mean Pinliang would let Yushu go just like that. Xiaofu came back with 3 bottles of drinks, handing one to Yushu and the other to Pinliang before drinking one himself. Yushu, on the other hand, was caught off guard. After all, Pinliang always gave her snacks. She hadn't expected Gao Xiaofu to tamper with the drink bottles. Gulp. Pinliang finished the drink in one gulp before tossing the bottle away. He stood up and turned to Yushu. How about I show you my ultimate move now? Let's see if I can defeat Lin Yi. Sure. Yushu nodded and watched as Pinliang started practicing martial arts on the spot. He wasn't activating the martial arts, but Yushu didn't know that. Pinliang was doing it very well. I thought he had just learned this martial technique from somewhere. After a while, Pinliang released the centipede when Yushu wasn't paying attention. The centipede, on the other hand, was looking for a bait when it wasn't being attacked. Yushu wasn't too far away, and the centipede locked onto her in no time at all. The centipede whooshed over to Yushu's side, burrowing into Yushu's pants and biting down. What's that? Yushu felt a slight pain in her leg. She was about to check it out when a wave of dizziness hit her, and she fainted on the ground. The centipede, on the other hand, quickly retreated from Yushu's pants. It crawled back into Pinliang's sleeve. This centipede sure is useful. Pinliang was overjoyed at the sight of Yushu fainting. It gave him a boost in confidence. He was full of hope for his match with Lin Yi this afternoon. He turned to Xiaofu. Give me the phone, I'll call Yao Yao and get her to pick Yushu up. But Xiaofu passed the phone to Pinliang. Pinliang had been training, and it wasn't convenient for him to carry his phone with him, so he gave it to Xiaofu for safekeeping. Pinliang dialed Mengyao's number after taking the phone. Yushu went to find out what was going on, and Mengyao was waiting for her in the cafeteria. Pinliang's call made her feel uneasy. Pinliang, what's up? Yao Yao, it's bad. Shu fainted all of a sudden. Pinliang said, panicking. What? Shu fainted? What happened? Mengyao jumped up from her seat and ran out of the cafeteria, ignoring the food on her table. She ran towards the park behind the school. I don't know. Shu said she wanted to watch me practice, so I showed her. But then she fainted all of a sudden. I didn't dare move around, afraid that it was some kind of acute illness. It'd be bad if I moved. Pin Liang said. Liang bro. Pin Liang was explaining to Meng Yao when Xiaofu interrupted. Xiaofu, don't talk. We'll talk later. Pin Liang cut Xiaofu off impatiently before turning to Meng Yao. Yao Yao, come to the park behind the school. Guys and girls shouldn't touch each other. I can't just carry her to the hospital. Okay, I'll be right there. With that, Meng Yao hung up and quickly called Lin, telling him about Shu fainting and telling him to rush to the park behind the school as soon as possible. After hanging up, Pin Liang turned to Xiaofu. Xiaofu, what's up? Can't you see that I'm calling Meng Yao? What if we get exposed? No, Liang bro, your sleeves? Xiaofu pointed at Pin Liang's sleeves, his expression shocked. What's wrong with my sleeves? Pin Liang paused, not understanding. Your sleeve, it's smoking? Xiaofu suddenly yelled. Oh no, your sleeve is on fire. What? Pin Liang was shocked to realize that his clothes were smoking and his sleeves were on fire. This situation gave him a huge fright. What's going on? What's wrong with my sleeve? Why is it on fire? Chapter 2646. Pin Liang had no other choice but to jump into the fountain next to the flower bed. It was winter, and even though the fountain was warm, the weather was too cold. The water in the fountain was covered in ice, and Pin Liang shivered from the cold as he jumped in. Fortunately, he managed to put out the fire. Pin Liang quickly climbed out of the pool and sneezed. What's going on? Why is my body on fire for no reason? Liang bro, the centipede is still in your sleeve. Are you okay? Xiaofu was thinking about the centipede, wondering how it was doing. Yeah, my centipede, Pin Liang said, shocked. He remembered that the sleeve that caught on fire was the one with the centipede inside. He didn't know how it was doing. He quickly chanted in beast language to summon the centipede, but the centipede didn't come out. Pin Liang was scared out of his wits. He quickly flipped open his sleeve and found the centipede inside, but it wasn't the centipede at all. The centipede had turned into a dried centipede, and even though Pin Liang was soaking wet, the centipede was still red and smoking. Pin Liang couldn't help but throw the centipede to the ground subconsciously. Why is the centipede smoking? Did it catch on fire? Xiaofu looked at the centipede on the ground, confused. What's going on? Pin Liang looked at the centipede on the ground, dumbfounded. This was his trump card against Lin. Now that the centipede had caught on fire and turned into a dried centipede, it was clearly dead. What was he going to do about the match in the afternoon? How did the centipede die? The two were studying it when Meng Yao and Lin came running over. Pin Liang had no choice but to roll up the dried centipede with his sleeve. His expression was as ugly as it could get. Shu, are you okay? Meng Yao ran over and held onto Yushu's hand, calling her name. She was the closest to Shu, even though they were always bickering with each other. But there really was trouble. She was also the most concerned. Yao Yao, don't worry. Let me take a look first. Lin sighed in relief when he saw that Yushu was still breathing. As long as she was still breathing. Yeah. Meng Yao knew that there was nothing she could do to help, and so she quickly moved to the side to give Lin space. Lin put his hand on Yushu's pulse, carefully checking her body condition. Meng Yao, on the other hand, glared at Pin Liang. Pin Liang, what's wrong with you? Did you do it? What do you mean I did it? Pin Liang said with a sad face. Meng Yao looked at him for a long time. She didn't know why he was so sad, but it didn't look like he'd done anything to Shu. How could she know? Pin Liang's centipede had turned into a dried-up centipede. Shu seems fine, she just fainted. Her body functions are normal, and her breathing is stable. It doesn't look like she's poisoned. It looks like she fainted after getting drunk, but there's no alcohol in her body. That's weird. Could it be that she's too tired? Lin asked curiously after checking Yushu's condition. Is that so? Meng Yao found it strange as well, but Lin said that Yushu was fine. She let out a sigh of relief. That's good. Since she's fine, let's carry her back to the dorms. She looks really tired. Okay. Lin nodded and carried Yushu. He looked at the sad Pin Liang and said, Pin Liang, I'll fight with you in the afternoon. I'll take Shu back first. Okay. Pin Liang wanted to cry, but no tears came out. What should he do? Should he run away? The centipede was dead. Wouldn't he get beaten up if he went on stage? He wasn't looking for trouble that badly. But running away was embarrassing enough. He just boasted this morning, saying that whoever didn't come was a son of a bitch. Could that son of a bitch be him? Pin Liang was helpless, but there was nothing he could do. Liang bro, what do we do? Xiaofu didn't know what to do as well. What else can we do? Run? Go back to the everyday sect and hide for a while. How did the centipede catch fire? That's weird. Pin Liang had no other choice, he had to run. He'd lose the competition anyway, so he might as well not go. Just like that? Xiaofu paused, but after thinking about it, what else could he do? He nodded. Then let's go back to the dorms and pack up? Yeah, let's go. Pin Liang made up his mind. Pin Liang had no choice but to run. His centipede was dead, and he didn't have any trump cards he could use against Lin. He could only hurry back to the dorms with Xiaofu, pack up their stuff, and leave the dorms quickly. However, the students who saw them didn't think that they'd run away, thinking that they were preparing for the match in the afternoon. Pin Liang took advantage of the situation. The two quietly went to the parking lot, got into the car, and drove out of the school. Lin Yi sent Yushu back to Mingyao's dorm, and since Yushu was indeed unconscious, the auntie at the door didn't stop Lin Yi from going upstairs. Lin Yi, is Shu really okay? Mengyao asked curiously as she looked at the unconscious Yushu on the bed. It's really fine, at least from what I can see. Her body functions are normal, she just fainted. Lin Yi said. She'll wake up in an hour or so if there are no accidents. That's good. Mengyao let out a breath of relief. Have you eaten yet? I haven't. Nope, I'll go buy some. Mengyao called Lin Yi over before he could eat. It's fine, there's some instant noodles in the dorm. I'll go make 2 bowls. I'm a little worried about Shu. Mengyao didn't have much of an appetite, so she went to make some instant noodles. Lin Yi nodded. The instant noodles were finished quickly, and since Shu was unconscious, Lin Yi and Mengyao sat there with nothing to do. The atmosphere was a little awkward. Chapter 2647. The two rarely had the chance to be alone, and they didn't know what to say. Lin Yi wanted to say something, but Mengyao spoke up as well. The two looked at each other and smiled. You first, Lin Yi smiled. I'm actually fine. I'm fine, I just wanted to ask, are you going to participate in Zhong Pingliang's challenge? Mengyao said with a smile, and the tension between the two dissipated in an instant. I don't want to go, but I have to go. He said that through the loudspeaker. I'm a coward if I don't go. Son of a bitch? Although I don't know who my mother is, I was raised by old Lin. Wouldn't I be insulting him? Lin Yi smiled bitterly and shook his head helplessly. That's true. That's true. Zhong Pingliang is really annoying. He's too stubborn. I don't like him, but he won't stop pestering me. If it wasn't for Shu, I don't know how much trouble I'd be in. Mengyao sighed. Just thinking about Zhong Pingliang gave her a headache. That's true, but he's quite loyal. It's just that his pestering is a bit abnormal. Lin Yi said, and this guy's luck is pretty good. Jiang Wen cut off his kidney and he's still alive. Forget it, since there's no other way we'll go, Mengyao said. I wonder what Zhong Pingliang is relying on this time. According to his personality, he wouldn't challenge someone without something to rely on. We can only wait for Shu to wake up. Lin Yi knew that Yushu was going to find out Zhong Pingliang's trump card. An hour passed quickly. As the two were talking, Yushu opened her eyes, but she was a bit confused. Where am I? Yao Yao sis, shield bro? You guys are here? This is the dorm? Shu, you fainted just now. What happened? Mengyao saw that Yushu woke up and was happy. He quickly asked. Right, Pin Liang said he was going to show me his ultimate move, but I got dizzy all of a sudden. Yushu remembered. I fainted? How could that be? Could it be Zhong Pingliang? Lin Yi thought of something all of a sudden. Did he do something to knock you out? I think so. I feel a pain in my leg. It was as if he had been bitten by something. I wanted to see what was going on, but I fainted. Yushu suddenly remembered the situation and quickly explained. Let me see that leg? Lin Yi quickly asked. This is it. Yushu opened her pants, revealing her lotus root-like calf. There was indeed a row of small teeth marks on it. Yushu was shocked. What the hell is this? I think he was bitten by a bug? Let me see. Lin Yi said as he studied the bite marks on Yushu's calf. But he couldn't see anything. Could it be some kind of spirit beast? Did Zhong Pingliang get his hands on a spirit beast? It's possible. This spirit beast must be Zhong Pingliang's trump card. He wants to bite Shield Bro in the afternoon and knock him out. Yushu immediately thought of the reason. He's using me as an experiment. Yushu's deduction was pretty much the truth. But she didn't know Pingliang's motive. She thought that he was using her as an experiment. That's possible. Lin Yi nodded as he put his guard up. If Zhong Pingliang really used this spirit beast to bite people, then Lin Yi had to be careful. What if he fell for it and fainted? Wouldn't he lose before the battle even started? Shu, I really have to thank you this time. If you didn't put yourself in danger, I might have been careless. That's good. Shu didn't faint for nothing. But Zhong Pingliang sure is evil, using a spirit beast to bite me. Yushu raged. I'll make him suffer the next time I see him. But what Yushu didn't expect was that even if it wasn't for life, it was more or less the same. There wasn't any news from Pingliang for a long time. Meng Yao breathed a sigh of relief, but at the same time, Yushu missed Pingliang a little. It was lonely without someone to prank her. At 1:30 in the afternoon, the school's small field was filled with students. Many faculties didn't have classes on Monday afternoons this month, and Pingliang had chosen this day to join in the fun since everyone had nothing to do. Lin Yi, Meng Yao, and Yushu came to the school field together. Someone shouted, Lin Yi's here, and everyone's eyes focused on him. In actuality, Lin Yi wasn't a famous person in the school. He only gained some fame after beating Zhong Pingliang last time, and this time, Zhong Pingliang was challenging Lin Yi as well. This made Lin Yi a little more famous. Lin Yi and the others came to the center of the field and saw that by Wei Tuo, He Meiyue, Wang Xinyan, Han Jingjing, and the others were already there. Even Yu Coiling Tiger and Kang Xiaolong were here. But Zhong Pingliang was nowhere to be seen. According to the usual management, Zhong Pingliang would always arrive early, and Lin Yi would arrive on time. But this time, Lin Yi was here, but Zhong Pingliang wasn't. Where's Zhong Pingliang? Lin Yi paused and asked by Wei Tuo. I don't see him. He hasn't shown up, and his follower isn't here either. If you weren't here, we would have thought that the challenge was cancelled. Bai Weidua said, confused. He's not here? Lin Yi was even more confused. With Zhong Pingliang's personality, he wouldn't be late. If he had the confidence to win, he would have come early. After waiting for a while, Lin Yi still didn't see Zhong Pingliang and Gao Xiaofu. 20 minutes had already passed, and the students were getting impatient. They were all complaining about Zhong Pingliang breaking his promise and time. Helpless, Lin Yi took out his phone and dialed Zhong Pingliang's number. But the call went through, and the other side didn't pick up. Instead, the call was hung up. This made Lin Yi even more confused. What was Zhong Pingliang doing? He dialed again, and the call was hung up again. Lin Yi was helpless. He turned to the students. Who's in the same class as Zhong Pingliang? Someone go see if he's in the dorm. Chapter 2648. Pingliang's car is gone too. I went to the parking lot to take a look. Another person said. What? The dorm is gone and the car is gone? He's not even picking up our calls? Is this kid messing with us? A classmate immediately complained after listening to him. Yeah, this guy disappeared after declaring war. Isn't he messing with us? Is he a son of a bitch? Another classmate cursed angrily. Lin Yi and the others waited for a while, and it was 2 in the afternoon, but Pingliang was still nowhere to be seen. Lin Yi had no choice but to retreat, and the other classmates dispersed as well. Pingliang, however, had confirmed his declaration of war in the morning. He was a coward, a son of a bitch, but Pingliang didn't care about that right now. He just wanted to get back to the everyday and everyday sect as soon as possible and ask Master Chunyang what had happened to his centipede. That night, Pingliang finally made it back to the everyday and everyday sect. Nai Peo was very enthusiastic about Pingliang's return, but Master Chunyang's face darkened when he saw the centipede that had been turned into a dried one. This spirit beast was useless to the everyday sect, but it was still a treasure. If he sold it to a hidden house or a small sect, he'd be able to sell it for a few $100 million, but Pin Liang had turned it into nothing. Of course, if it had just been the 100 drunken centipede, heavenly venerable Pure Yang wouldn't have been so angry. The key was that the mid-grade golden cicada undergarment and the black iron staff had both been lost by Zhong Pingliang. How could Master Chunyang be happy about this? You're saying that after this centipede bit that girl called Yushu, it started emitting smoke and became a dried centipede? Pure Yang looked at the dried centipede in his hand in disbelief as he asked with a dark expression on his face. Yeah. It seems like the centipede didn't come into contact with anything after that. That's it. Pin Liang nodded after some thought. Bullshit. This isn't the first time this centipede has bitten someone. At most, it doesn't have any effect. I've never heard of a centipede emitting smoke. Pure Yang was furious. He felt that Pin Liang was lying through his teeth. But I'm not lying, it's really like that. Pin Liang said bitterly. He carefully said with a smile. I think you're lying through your teeth. Empyrean Pure Yang slapped the table and said, was it caused by Lin? Master, calm down, I don't think Liang bro's lying. That Yushu girl's a little weird, she might have smeared some poison on her body. Nai Peo quickly tried to help out upon seeing his master's anger. Oh, is that so? Pure Yang frowned, but Nai Peo was his beloved disciple, so he said that. Only then did he calm down a little and pick up the centipede again. After a while, he couldn't help but exclaim in surprise, this centipede seems to have been poisoned by fire poison. That's not poison. Not poison. Nai Peo paused as well, then, Zhong Pingyang, tell your master the truth. How did this centipede die? It's definitely not poison, it's probably the fire poison of a fire element practitioner, and it's something that only a practitioner who's trained to the extreme could do. Pure Yang said solemnly. He asked, Master, I'm not lying to you. This centipede only bit Yushu once. Other than me and Gao Xiaofu, there was no one else. Pin Liang said with certainty. So you're saying that Yushu is a fire element practitioner? Pure Yang asked. No, she's definitely not a practitioner. I haven't officially become one yet, but I'd be able to tell if someone else was a practitioner. Pin Liang said. Plus, Nai Peo can also prove that Yushu isn't a practitioner. Nai Peo can prove that Yushu isn't a practitioner, too. We've been in school together for 3 years, I know what kind of person she is. She's not a practitioner. Pure Yang didn't seem to believe Pin Liang's words, but he suddenly thought of something and his expression changed. Wait for me, I have something to confirm. Yes, master. Pin Liang and Gao Xiaofu didn't dare say much and nodded. Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang quickly returned to his residence and made a phone call. Soon, the voice of the Xianxia ancestor came through the phone. Pure Yang? Xianxia ancestor, it's me. Pure Yang didn't waste any time and said hurriedly, I have something to confirm with you. There's a person called Yushu in Donghai City. Do you know her? Why, you want to touch her? The Xianxia ancestor's tone suddenly changed. You can't touch this person. She's a pawn in my plan. No matter what grudge you have with her, you have to put it down first. Do you hear me? Xianxia ancestor, I have no grudge with her. Don't worry. Pure Yang heard the Xianxia ancestor's tone and felt extremely aggrieved, but he had to be very respectful to him. The Five Elements sect and the Everyday and Sun sect were both primordial sects 1,000 years ago, but both sects declined and were eliminated from the ranks of the primordial sections. When the other primordial sects moved to Heaven Island, they were excluded. In the past 1,000 years, the Five Elements sect and the Everyday and Sun sect had planned to return to Heaven Island and return to the level of the primordial sections. However, the Five Elements sect became more and more powerful, while the Everyday and Sun sect declined. As a result, the Everyday and Sun sect, which used to be on an equal footing with the Five Elements sect, was reduced to an existence similar to the primordial sections. From a cooperative relationship with the Five Elements sect, it became almost a subsidiary relationship. However, Pure Yang couldn't do anything. After all, the Xianxia ancestor was not only a generation older than him, but the Everyday and Sun sect really didn't have many powerful people. Other than Kuang ancestral master who had been in seclusion for a long time, the most powerful person was him, Pure Yang, but even he was not a match for the Xianxia ancestor. This was also because of an accident that happened more than 10 years ago. Two extreme external masters forcibly took away Kuang ancestral master's senior brother, Kuanglong ancestral master, and killed the second senior brother, Kuangpong ancestral master. This greatly damaged the strength of the Everyday and Sun sect. On the other hand, the Five Elements sect had always been low-key, especially during the period when the Xianxia ancestor was in charge. It was so low-key that the outside world even thought that the Xianxia ancestor, an alchemist, was an independent cultivator. Chapter 2649. Only a few heads of the ancient sects knew about this secret. The rest of the sects didn't know about it. This also allowed the Five Elements sect to luckily escape the calamity of that year and preserve their strength. And that's for the best. The Xianxia ancestor nodded and said, "How's your disciple Zhang Naipeo's chrysanthemum arts? What level is he at?" "He's at the second level now, he hasn't reached perfection yet," Pure Yang said. "Only the second level, we need to hurry. He'll be one of the most important chess pieces." The Xianxia ancestor said, "Don't worry, Elder Xianxia. Zhang Naipeo's training speed is very fast, and this plan isn't just your sects. We, the Everyday and Everyday sect, have been waiting for this moment for a long time." In order to return to the Archean plane, Pure Yang could only bow and kneel before the Five Elements sect. "That's good. I'll hang up first if there's nothing else. Don't mention Yushu to anyone," the Xianxia ancestor said. Pure Yang Tianzuan hung up the phone. This time, he believed Zhong Pingliang's words. However, he was also cursing Pingliang's bad luck. He could have used the centipede to bite anyone, but he had to bite Yushu, a fire inheritor. Although the Xianxia ancestor didn't say it clearly, Pure Yang Sky Master had already guessed it. Returning to the previous room, Pure Yang knew the whole story, but he was still very unhappy with Zhong Pingliang. He couldn't be angry at Zhong Pingliang because Zhang Naipeo was here. If it were any other disciple, even if they weren't killed by Pure Yang to vent their anger, they would have been chased off the mountain a long time ago. But since it involved Zhang Naipeo, Pure Yang could only endure it for now. He tolerated Zhang Naipeo not only because he was his beloved disciple, but also because he practiced the chrysanthemum arts. It would be an important part of the future plan, so Pure Yang tolerated Zhong Pingliang again and again. "All right. Zhong Pingliang, I've figured it out, and I believe what you said." Pure Yang didn't blame Zhong Pingliang anymore, but waved his hand and said, "However, I don't have any good way for you to go back and take revenge for now." "It's fine, I'm not in a hurry. Thank you for your trust, Master." Pingliang breathed out in relief, not daring to ask for more. After all, he had already lost 3 treasures. Yes, according to the rules of the Everyday and Everyday sect, outer disciples can choose a place to live in the back mountain. Here, you and Gao Xiaofu can stay here for now, and Naipeo will bring you guys to choose a place. You guys can train here for now, and I'll come find you when I have a better idea. Pure Yang couldn't be bothered with Pingliang any longer, and sent him to the back mountain. Letting him go to the back mountain to train on his own wouldn't make Naipeo feel bad. Out of sight, out of mind. However, Zhong Pingliang didn't know what Master Chunyang was thinking. He quickly thanked him. "Thank you, Master. I'll stay here and cultivate then." Pingliang didn't dare go back to school for a while. He'd boasted before, but he didn't have the guts to challenge them. Wasn't he just a coward and a son of a bitch? Pingliang would definitely be cursed at when he got back. As a result, he decided to wait for the matter to die down first. "Liang bro, what do you think of these houses?" Naipeo brought Pingliang and Xiaofu to the back mountain. He said apologetically, "The ones with nice views are all taken by the more experienced outer disciples. You're a latecomer, Liang bro. I can use my authority to find you a good place, but that'll have to wait until after the new year when the resources are redistributed. You'll have to make do with it for the next 2 months. It's fine." Pingliang said with a wave of his hand. "I think this place is fine. It's quiet and no one's bothering us." The outer disciples wake up early to train in those crowded places, especially the physical practitioners. They're always making noises all day, disturbing my sleep. That's true. Nai Peo nodded. My house is in the inner sect. If it weren't for the sect rules, you guys could live with me, Liang bro. My place is really big and I can't use it all by myself. Ha, the Pao, I'm very happy that you're willing. Pin Liang patted Nai Peo on the shoulder. The best decision I've ever made in my life was taking you in as my follower. I can see that if it weren't for you, Master wouldn't even care about me, let alone give me the mystic treasure to fight Lin. I even broke the mystic treasure, and he didn't even blame me for it. It's all because of you, Nai Peo said with a smile. Nai Peo's eyes lit up. Liang bro, don't say that. When I was in trouble, it was you who helped me out, Liang bro. My family would have been dead a long time ago, and I wouldn't be able to train here in peace. Nai Peo shook his head. Liang bro, just stay here for now. When the time comes, I'll see if I can get you another mystic treasure so you can go back and teach Lin a lesson. Alright, there's no rush. I'm very happy that you're willing. Pin Liang was overjoyed. Donghai Industry University. Pin Liang and Gao Xiaofu were nowhere to be seen even after school ended. The two had disappeared just like that, and the challenge had turned into a farce. What confused Lin, however, was that Pin Liang clearly had a trump card, so why did he give up on the challenge all of a sudden? Could it be that his spirit beast was broken? Or could it be that it could only be used once and wouldn't work after that? Of course, Lin never would have thought that Pin Liang's spirit beast would turn into a dried centipede, poisoned by Yushu's fire. Shield bro, Pin Liang really didn't come. Yushu's leg had healed completely, and there were no side effects. She was just as confused as Lin was, however, as to why Pin Liang didn't come, and why was there no news from him at all. I'm not sure, who knows what he's doing. But he's the one who stood me up, so it's not my fault. Lin shook his head, started the car, and drove towards the Shueshang district. What Lin didn't expect was that there was someone standing in front of his villa, pacing back and forth. He didn't know what he was up to, but if it weren't for the familiarity of the silhouette, Lin would have thought it was a thief with bad intentions. After pressing the horn twice, Lin parked the car in the yard, and the person waiting at the door saw Lin Yi's car coming in and immediately followed. You Dake. Lin looked at the person, a little surprised. It was you Dake, the one from the hidden house of the right that wanted to commit suicide, the one he met at the Hidden House Summit. Chapter 2650. Normally, Lin wouldn't remember a minor character's name, but since Yu Dake was Xiaoka's brother, Lin naturally remembered his name. Haha, Mr. Lin, you remember me? Yu Dake heard Lin call out his name right away and was happy. It saved him the trouble of introducing himself. Of course, but why are you here? Lin was curious why Yu Dake was here. Could it be that Yupan who found out that Han Jingjing's tablet was a new one, and there were only notes in it? Did he send Yu Dake here to continue exchanging Han Jingjing's notes? Mr. Lin, you saved me at the Hidden House Summit. I said I would repay you. Yu Dake said solemnly, I've been looking for a chance to find you, Mr. Lin, but I haven't had the chance. You know that I can't leave easily while I'm in the Hidden House. Oh, it doesn't matter. I saved you at the right time, and because of my relationship with your sister, I'll naturally help you. Lin said, let's not talk at the door. Let's talk inside. Yu Dake nodded and entered the villa with Lin Meng Yao, and Yushu. Han Jingjing and Han Xiaoqiao went back to their own villa. After entering the living room, Yu Dake acted a little restrained and respectful towards Lin. He stood there, not daring to sit down. Sit. Lin didn't expect Yu Dake to be so nervous. He couldn't help but smile. I'm very close with your sister, you don't have to be so polite. Lin didn't act too close to Yu Dake at the Hidden House Summit because he didn't want people to see it. This time, however, Lin Yi's attitude was much better. Of course, this was also because Lin and Xiaoka's relationship had gotten closer after what happened at the practitioner's market. Thank you, Mr. Lin. Yu Dake rubbed his hands and sat on the sofa. Meng Yao poured a glass of water for Yu Dake. Lin this is? Who's his sister? Oh, I didn't tell you. This is Yu Dake, Yu Xiaoka's brother, but they were separated when they were young. Lin introduced. Currently, Yu Dake is a guest of the Hidden House Yu. When I first met him, it was at the Hidden Family Summit. You're Xiaoka's brother. Yushu realized. Then why did he say you saved him? What's going on? You're both Mr. Lin's wives, right? I'll explain it myself. It's like this. Yudake didn't wait for Lin Yi to speak before explaining the situation to Meng Yao and Yushu. Meng Yao was a little shy when Dake called her Mrs. Lin Yi, but she didn't refute it. Yushu accepted the title without hesitation. Yushu was furious after listening to Dake's story. This hidden house you really is a piece of trash. You can't even bear to part with a few pills. It's fine, I'm their guest. I can only get paid if I do things for them, and if I don't, they have no obligation to give me pills. Dake smiled bitterly. Hidden House you has a lot of freelancers coming to join them, they don't need me. Oh, then you said you're here to thank Shield Bro. How are you going to thank him? Yushu asked. Shield Bro? Dake paused, but he thought that it might be Lin Yi's nickname, so he didn't mind it. He said directly, Mr. Lin, to be honest, I'm a freelancer, and I don't belong to any sections. You know that it's very difficult for freelancers to break through, and we're completely different from rich kids like you, Mr. Lin. We don't have a master to guide us, and we don't have resources. Those rich kids eat pills like candy, but we can't even get them with money. We can only figure out things we don't understand on our own, and we don't have a master to protect us when we break through, so everything is so difficult. Wait, let me say this first, I'm also a freelancer. Lin Yi shook his head with a bitter smile. In the eyes of outsiders, he was a rich kid? What a joke. But thinking about the strength and speed Lin Yi was showing now, it was normal for people to misunderstand. In fact, Lin Yi knew that what Dake was talking about was exactly what he had been suffering all these years. Sometimes, when he saw Zhao Qibing suddenly become an Earth-class master, Lin Yi really envied him. Although relying on pills to increase strength wasn't stable, if he didn't do proper training and support, he wouldn't be a match for those practitioners who leveled up step by step. First of all, there was a huge difference in battle experience. Comparing the two, it was like comparing two people with the same weight. One was fat, the other was muscular, and the two's combat ability was like heaven and earth. So even though Zhao Qibing had a body full of strength, he was like a person who didn't turn fat into muscle. His combat ability was far from the level of an Earth-class master, but this incredible speed of training still made Lin Yi envious. Although Lin Yi had two masters, both of them didn't teach him anything about training. One taught him assassination methods and the butterfly micro-steps, which was comparable to the speed of a Sky-class master, and the other taught him medicine and helped him train his physique. But in terms of training, Lin Yi still had to find his way forward by himself. The only person who knew a little bit could guide him was Jiao Yazi, Jiao Lao, who could be considered as half a master. Moreover, he was a person with incomplete memories, and he didn't know anything. This made Lin Yi feel incomparable pain. It could be said that Lin Yi's achievement today was completely based on his own hard work. Although he was famous in front of others and could intimidate the Sky-class masters, but how could others know the hardships he went through when he trained behind the scenes? 1 minute in front of the stage, 10 years of hard work behind the stage. Now, Lin Yi wasn't afraid to announce his identity as a freelancer because Lin Yi was gradually gaining control of the noble houses, and in the hidden noble houses, Lin Yi was also faintly dominating them. The only thing left was the ancient level. At this level, there was no meaning in pretending to have a mysterious background. Your strength was there, no use in pretending, unless you really had a master behind you who could really show up. Ah, Mr. Lin is also a freelancer? Dake looked at Lin Yi in shock. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Ah, of course. Lin Yi smiled and nodded. It can't be. Mr. Lin is now an Earth-class master at the peak of the middle phase, and he can even kill a Sky-class master in a second. How can he be a freelancer? I always thought that Mr. Lin had a master behind him to guide him. Dake didn't think that Lin Yi was lying to him, but he was just too shocked. Chapter 2651. Let's not talk about this first. Let's continue talking about your matter. Lin Yi waved his hand. He saw that the topic was getting out of hand, so he said, Okay. Dake nodded and said, I went from the lowest level of cultivator all the way to the middle stage of the Earth class. Of course, I served the Yu family and was rewarded with some medicinal pellets and treasures for cultivation, but these are only a few. If I wasn't an early-stage Earth class master, the Yu family wouldn't have accepted me. My early-stage Earth class didn't rely on medicinal pellets, nor did I rely on bitter cultivation. I relied on another way. Another way? Lin Yi was slightly stunned. It's this thing. Yu Dake took out a small antique box from his pocket and carefully opened it. He took out a small white stone and handed it to Lin. Mr. Lin, please take a look. Oh, white energy stone. Lin Yi took the thing that Yu Dake handed over and was slightly stunned. Because the thing in Yu Dake's hand was the same thing as the treasure that he and Sun Jingyi found in the Wulanhate mountain range. Mr. Lin knows this thing? Yu Dake was stunned, but then he suddenly said, no wonder. Mr. Lin should have this thing too. Otherwise, Mr. Lin's cultivation speed can't be so fast. No, I have a friend who has one, but it has been used up. Lin Yi said, your piece should have been used up too, right? The treasure you gave me is this? Lin Yi couldn't feel the qi fluctuations in this energy stone, so it should be the same as Sun Jingyi's. The energy inside was used up. What puzzled Lin Yi was why Yu Dake gave him this thing. That's not it. This piece of mine has been used, but I know a place where there should be some unused energy stones. Yu Dake said, there's actually a place that produces this kind of energy stone? Lin Yi's heart stirred. Although this energy stone wasn't very useful to Lin Yi for the time being, it wasn't very useful to him. However, for other cultivators, it should be of some use. At the very least, they could sell it for a high price and exchange it for some good items. Therefore, Lin Yi was still very interested. Yes, all those years ago, I obtained this small box in a cave, and there was an energy stone within the box. At the same time, there is also a treasure map. The location marked on the treasure map is said to have a lot of energy stones. Yu Dake said, but I went there once, but I couldn't find it. That place is too big, and it's a boundless desert. I can't confirm the coordinates and location of the treasure map. So that's how it is. Lin Yi nodded. This is the treasure map you said you were going to give me? That's right, I know that this treasure map is somewhat illusory. If I can't find it, it's equivalent to a piece of waste paper, but it's the most important and precious thing I can take out. This is the only way. Yu Dake spread his hands helplessly and smiled bitterly. This is also the only way I can repay you for saving my life. Hee, if that's the case, then it would be impolite of me to refuse. Lin Yi smiled and took the map that Yu Dake handed over. He glanced at it and found that this map was very similar to the map in Sun Jingyi's hands. He didn't expect that these cultivators liked to draw unclear maps. They didn't mark the specific location and just drew a diagram. Then he pointed out the location of the treasure on it. It's so simple? Yeah. Yu Dake nodded and sighed. When I was looking for this map, I spent a lot of effort. I compared it with the satellite map on the internet. I analyzed it for half a year before I came to a specific conclusion. It's just that after I went there, I found that it was an endless desert. In the desert, there are no landmarks to speak of. I can't determine the location on this treasure map at all. Unless I can fly high enough to see the whole picture of the desert, but the helicopter I took won't work. I compared the coordinates of the online map and used the satellite positioning system, but I didn't find anything. This map should be more than 1,000 years ago. Even the overall shape of the desert has changed greatly, so I'm not sure if the new coordinates that I've determined are the same as the previous coordinates. Even if there is an error of a few kilometers, I won't be able to find it. Lin Yi looked at the map and nodded in agreement. It was a little easier back in Wulanhate Mountains. The terrain there was still unique, and it wasn't exactly the same. There was also the highest point at the top of the mountain that could see the entire map. But the desert was different. Even if the shape of the desert was drawn, it was still difficult to determine the exact location in the boundless desert. Thanks, I'll accept this map. Lin said, where is this desert? What's it called now? It didn't matter if they could find it or not. This treasure map was a token of Yu Dake's sincerity, and he gave it to Lin Yi with a heart full of gratitude. Naturally, Lin Yi couldn't reject it. It was a little hard to find, but Lin Yi could go take a look when he had time. Wow, shield bro, let me see the treasure map. Yushu took the map from Lin Yi's hands and looked at it. But in an instant, Yushu's face changed slightly before returning to normal. This place. This desert must be really hot. This desert is now called the Hakunamata Desert. It's uninhabited. It's really hot. It said that there's a volcano at the end of the desert, and the desert is already dry and hot. If Mr. Lin is interested, I can bring you there. All the treasures we find will belong to Mr. Lin. I won't take anything. Udake said. Of course, this kind of heat is still bearable for us practitioners. Of course, when Udake talked about the origin of the map and the location, he held back a little. But it wasn't something important. It was about Udake, and it didn't have much to do with Lin Yi or the treasure, so he didn't go into details. We'll talk about it later. Lin Yi remembered the name of the desert. As expected, it wasn't a common place. There probably weren't many adventurers or tourists. It was a very desolate place. Okay. Udake could tell that Lin Yi didn't seem to be very interested. He didn't say anything else and only continued. Then, he stopped here and looked at Lin Yi as if he was hesitating about something. Chapter 2652. Is there anything else? Lin Yi looked at Udake and asked, just say it, don't hesitate. It's like this. Mr. Lin, can you take me to see my sister? Although Udake said that he didn't want to disturb his sister's life, it was different now. After going back, Udake couldn't help but miss his sister. He even wanted to reunite with her as soon as possible. This time, he also wanted Lin Yi to take him to see his sister. That's why he hesitated. Of course, no problem. Lin Yi smiled, understanding Dake's feelings. He said that he didn't want to see it, but now that he knew about it, he'd think about it often. He wouldn't feel at ease if he didn't see it. Tomorrow morning, I've raised some money for her orphanage. I'll just send the check to her. Dake nodded. Okay, I'll send it to her tomorrow. Tomorrow? How about today? Udake asked carefully. I can't go out for too long. I'm afraid that the hidden house you will be suspicious. If they know that I'm looking for Mr. Lin, they won't let me go easily. Today is fine too. Let's go now. Lin Yi stood up and said, Yao Yao, Shu, I'm going back to Songshan. Do you have anything to do? The weather is getting colder. Can you help us find some winter clothes? Meng Yao thought about it and asked. Okay, I'll go first. Lin Yi said and left the villa with Udake. They got in the car and went straight to Songshan. In fact, what Lin Yi didn't know was that there was another familiar person on the way to Songshan. It was Tang Yuqi. Tang Yuqi came back from overseas to fulfill his father's wish. Tang Yuqi's father used to be from Songshan, but because his family was poor, he was adopted by a rich family. Not long after, the family moved overseas. After so many years, Tang Yuqi's grandfather, who was also Tang Yuqi's father's adoptive father, passed away. Tang Yuqi's father was not young anymore. Old people liked to return to their roots. Tang Yuqi's father still had a younger brother here. If he could find him, Tang Yuqi's father planned to come back. If he couldn't find him, he wouldn't know anyone after he came back. Naturally, it would be meaningless. Of course, whether he came back or not was secondary. The main thing was that he wanted to have a family. He was adopted, so he didn't have any relatives overseas. She felt a little lonely during Chinese New Year and always dreamed that her younger brother's family could also come overseas as guests. Therefore, Tang Yuqi took it very seriously. After staying overnight in Donghai City, he rented a car and headed to Songshan. Lin Yi and Udake arrived at the Songshan orphanage together. Xiao Ken welcomed them as soon as the car entered the courtyard. He was directing the unloading of the goods in the parking lot at the entrance of the orphanage. Naturally, he was happy to see Lin Yi. Lin Yi bro. Xiao Ken ran over quickly. Are you looking for Xiaoka sis? Yes, is she here? Lin Yi. She is. But she should be in her dorm at this time. Just go find her. Okay, then go do what you need to do. I'll go find her. Lin Yi nodded and drove the car to the orphanage's staff dorm. Originally, Xiaoka and the dean could have designed a big house in the orphanage, but both of them rejected Fatty Lai's design when he brought them the blueprint. They wanted to make all the dorms the same size. There were more and more children in the orphanage, and they needed to hire more staff to take care of them. The orphanage was private, and all the expenses had to be borne by the dean and Xiaoke. Naturally, they wanted to save as much as they could and gave the extra room to the new staff. Lin Yi knew all the security guards in the orphanage, and he was the one who'd brought Udake with him. The two went up the stairs without any obstruction. My sister is still living in the orphanage? Udake didn't dare to ask along the way. He only knew that Xiaoke was in the orphanage, and that Lin Yi had raised a large sum of money for the orphanage. He didn't know that Xiaoke was in charge of the orphanage. Xiaoke and the dean are in charge of the orphanage together. The child you saw just now is called Xiao Ken. He's Xiaoke's assistant. Lin Yi explained. Your sister is working very hard. She worries about the children's livelihood every day. Don't underestimate the expenses of the orphanage. They spend money like water. Ugh. Udake paused. There was a lot of information in Lin Yi's words. He needed to digest it carefully. You're saying that my sister is in charge of the entire operation of the orphanage? And she has to run around for the orphanage's expenses? Something like that? Lin Yi nodded. Our school helped raise more than 100 million this time. I don't know how long it'll last. 100 million won't last long? Udake's eyes widened. No way. How much can these children cost? Even if there are a few hundred of them, it'll only be a few 100,000 a month at most, right? Ha! You don't know how expensive food is. If it's just food, it might be enough, but there are more than a few hundred children here. Up until the last time I talked to Xiaoke, there were more than 10,000 orphans here. Most of them were born with congenital and acquired diseases. The treatment fee for these orphans is more than 100 times the cost of food. Lin Yi sighed. He felt that Xiaoke was working very hard. The orphanage had entered an endless cycle of expansion. More and more orphans with diseases were sent here. With Xiaoke's personality, she wouldn't reject them. She could only continue to expand the orphanage. Of course, Lin Yi could treat these sick orphans himself. However, Lin Yi's time and energy were limited. Treating an orphan might take a few hours or a few months. If he stayed in the orphanage, he could save a lot of money. However, it would delay Lin Yi's training. It wasn't practical. I see. After Udake heard this, he nodded. Obviously, he was silently calculating in his heart. Tens of thousands of children, and many of them were sick. This expenditure was definitely an astronomical figure. Chapter 2653. A hidden Yu family required tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of expenses every month. Although there was money to buy alchemy materials, how many people were there in the Yu family? Not to mention this orphanage. The two of them went upstairs together. Lin Yi stopped at the door of a room and knocked on it. Who is it? Not long after, Xiaoke's tired voice came from inside. On the other hand, Udake was very excited. His whole body was trembling. Although this voice was unfamiliar, it gave him an inexplicable sense of intimacy. It made him want to immediately push the door open and walk in. Lin Yi also saw Udake's reaction, patted him on the shoulder, gave him a comforting smile, and then said, Xiaoke, it's me. Xiaoke opened the door and frowned when she saw Lin. Why are you here? Xiaoke. Udake was so excited that he automatically ignored Xiaoke's attitude towards Lin. He was so nervous that he couldn't speak. Who are you? Xiaoke looked strangely at the excited big brother beside Lin. You know me? Of course I know you, you're my sister. Udake said excitedly. Although Xiaoke had grown up, she still looked the same as she did in the photo, so Udake was sure that this person in front of him was his long-lost sister. Lin Yi, you brought a psycho? Xiaoke looked at Lin Yi with black lines on her forehead. Just who is this person? Xiaoke, he's called Udake. He's your brother. Lin Yi was also embarrassed as he explained to Xiaoke. But it was no wonder, since Udake was older and could remember things from a young age. Xiaoke, on the other hand, was too young to remember anything about Udake. Udake? My brother? Xiaoke paused for a moment before answering. He looked at Udake suspiciously. In Xiaoke's memory, she did have a brother, but she didn't remember much at that time. She didn't remember much about her brother, but she remembered the name Udake. She did not tell anyone, not even the old director of the orphanage. This also meant that Lin Yi shouldn't have found a random person to deceive her. If he really wanted to deceive her, he would have made up a name called Udake instead of Udake. Yes, Xiaoke, you remember? Udake asked excitedly. No. Xiaoke shook her head, but I remember I have a brother, but I can't remember anything related to him. Come in first. Regardless of whether it was real or not, where did Lin Yi find it? Even Xiaoke couldn't reject him, but she was still suspicious of Dake's background. This was also a precaution against Lin Yi's sudden visit at night, and he even brought someone who claimed to be her brother. Anyone would be suspicious of this. Lin Yi wanted to enter, but Xiaoke stopped him. She said calmly, I'm sorry, Lin Yi. I want to talk to him alone. Lin Yi didn't say much. He just nodded and stood at the door. Xiaoke was about to close the door. Although Udake felt that it wasn't good to shut Lin Yi outside, he thought that Xiaoke wanted to confirm something with him. However, he thought that Yu Xiao wanted to confirm something with him and couldn't let an outsider be present, so he could only apologize to Lin. Mr. Lin, please wait for a moment. We'll let you in once we confirm your identity. Okay, it's fine. Lin smiled. Xiaoke saw that Udake was so respectful to Lin Yi, and she was a little annoyed. Why was her brother acting like Lin Yi's lackey? In fact, Xiaoke was 80% sure of Udake's identity. After all, there weren't many people who knew her brother's name. After closing the door, Udake was a little excited and restrained. He didn't know if he should stand or sit. He looked at Xiaoke's room. Other than a bed, there was only a writing desk. There was only one chair in front of the writing desk. So, Udake either sat on the chair or the bed. There was no other place to sit. Please sit. Xiaoke took out a folding chair out of nowhere. She opened it and placed it in front of Udake. Then, she sat on the chair in front of the writing desk and stared at Udake. Are you really my brother? Xiaoke, I'm really your brother. Udake nodded with certainty. I know you might have doubts, but look at this picture first. Udake knew that thousands of words couldn't compare to a picture. Although the Photoshop technology was good, no matter how much they Photoshopped, it was impossible to recreate a person's appearance when they were young. Xiaoke looked at Dake as he took out an old-fashioned pocket watch and carefully passed it to her. This kind of thing wasn't common in modern society anymore. Xiaoke quickly took it and opened it. She was a little surprised. The girl in the picture was Xiaoke herself. Xiaoke didn't have this picture, but when she was young, the dean had taken a picture of her. Every child in the orphanage would have a picture of them when they first came to the orphanage. It wasn't for anything else, but it was so that when they grew up and looked for their parents, they would have a proof of what they looked like when they were young. Xiaoke had seen her own picture before, and she looked exactly the same as the girl in the picture. The angle of the two pictures were completely different, so it shouldn't be photoshopped. Then, the only explanation was that this person in front of her was really her brother. This is you and me? Xiaoke asked after a moment of silence. Yes, this is the only picture we had when we were young. It's also the proof that I've been looking for you all these years. Udake sighed, but because of some special reasons, I didn't dare to look for you openly. I'm sorry. No, it's not your fault. Are you really my brother? Xiaoke was confused. Although she knew that she had a brother, it was only in the depths of her memories. She didn't even have an impression of him. Now that he suddenly appeared in front of her, she couldn't accept it. Yes, if you don't believe me, there's a small red birthmark on your right foot. Udake said, although I could remember things back then, I didn't remember much. This is all I remember. Chapter 2654. Xiaoke didn't suspect anything anymore. She did have a red birthmark on her right foot, and it was very small. Even the dean didn't notice it, and she didn't mention it to anyone else. Lin Yi didn't know about it, and this person in front of her knew about it. He must be her brother. Xiaoke had been an orphan since young, and now that she had a brother, she was both happy and nervous. She raised her head and looked at Udake, but it wasn't easy for her to call him brother. Xiaoke, I know you still have doubts, but medical technology is so advanced now. We just need to do a DNA test to prove our relationship. If you don't believe me, we can do it tomorrow, Udake said nervously. Bro. Xiaoka couldn't hold back the excitement in her heart after hearing Dake's words. The word "bo" came out of her mouth and her tears fell down. Although she had the old dean's care and the orphanage's children's company, the loneliness of not having a family was especially obvious during the holidays. Xiaoka didn't think that she would finally have a big brother, sister. Dake heard Xiaoka call him and was extremely excited. You believe me? Actually, I believed you from the start. Xiaoka sighed. It's just that it was too sudden, and I couldn't accept it. Now that I've calmed down, I'm very happy. Yes, I'm very happy too. Dake nodded heavily. Tell me about my childhood. Xiao laughed. What about our parents? When we were young, our parents? Dake was silent. He wanted to say something but stopped himself. What's wrong? Xiaoka asked curiously after seeing Dake's expression. There are some things that I don't want you to know. I can bear it myself, and I don't want to burden you. Dake sighed. I've heard from Mr. Lin that you've shouldered too many responsibilities and burdens for the orphanage. Could it be that our parents were? Xiaoka was smart, and she'd seen many orphans who'd had their families annihilated, so it was easy for her to link it to herself. This. Dake sighed helplessly. I didn't want to say it at first, but I didn't expect you to guess it. Yes, our parents were killed by our enemies, and you and I are lucky to be alive. But my strength is not enough to take revenge, and I don't want you to live in hatred. You just need to understand these things. There's no need to know too much, okay? Xiaoka nodded. Since Dake didn't want to talk about it, she wouldn't ask. Her feelings for her parents were much weaker than Dake's, and she didn't have much of an impression of them. Her relationship with the headmaster was even deeper. Then how did you and Lin Yi meet? Xiaoka was worried about her brother's relationship with Lin Yi. She knew that Lin Yi was plotting against her, but she couldn't do anything about it. She could only accept it and accept it. Now that her brother was with Lin Yi, and he seemed to listen to Lin Yi, Xiaoka was worried. In fact, Xiaoka was grateful to Lin Yi from the bottom of her heart. If it wasn't for him, she would have to reject all the abandoned babies from all over the country. Xiaoka understood that even if she didn't take them in, other orphanages would take them in, but how many orphanages could afford the expensive treatment? If the treatment was cheap, the parents wouldn't be so cruel as to abandon them. Xiaoka knew that it wouldn't be good for her to keep accepting Lin Yi's help. She might even be forced to do something that would betray the male thief, but she had no other choice. Sometimes life was like this. Things wouldn't always go according to one's wishes. Xiaoka couldn't help but sigh as she thought about her future with the male thief. Dake didn't notice Xiaoka's helpless expression. He was happily talking about how he got injured at the Hidden House Summit and how Lin Yi saved him. He was filled with gratitude towards Lin. Xiaoka, Mr. Lin is a good person. It's rare to see a good person like him these days. Not only did he help me recover, he's also helping you with the orphanage. He's our savior. As the saying goes, when you receive a drop of kindness from someone, you must repay it with a fountain. So, us siblings must remember this kindness in our hearts for the rest of our lives. No matter what Mr. Lin asks of us, we must do our best. If we can do it, we must do it. Xiaoka listened to her brother's words, and her heart was in a mess. She lowered her head silently, not knowing how to answer her brother. Yes, Lin Yi saved her brother, and he supported the orphanage so much. He didn't owe her anything, but she and her brother owed him. But even so, she didn't have to repay him with her body, did she? If it were any other way, Xiaoka would nod without hesitation, but now. Looking at her brother praising Lin Yi nonstop, Xiaoka was a little annoyed. Her hatred for Lin Yi surged up once more. What was it that couldn't be said face to face? Why did she have to get her brother to be a lobbyist? Let her brother keep praising him in front of her? And then she fell for him? What made Xiaoka angry was that Lin Yi clearly liked her, but he didn't admit it. Xiaoka knew Lin Yi's personality a little. He wasn't a very warm-hearted person. Was he an idiot? Why would he keep helping the orphanage? Most of his company's profits went to the orphanage, and yet he was still helping the orphanage every day. Xiaoka really didn't believe that Lin Yi just wanted to help her. It wasn't realistic. Who? Xiaoka didn't want to listen anymore, so she raised her head and changed the topic. Brother, are you married? Of course not. Dake shook his head. When I told you about the Hidden House Summit, you didn't seem to have many questions? You know about the practitioners and the hidden houses? Chapter 2655. What? You're a practitioner too? Outer sect? Oh, outer sect is good, outer sect is good. Dake let out a breath of relief, but at the same time he was shocked. Although he was from the hidden house he was just a small follower. It wasn't realistic for him to go against the young master of the hidden house Zhao. You're saying that your orphanage offended the hidden house Zhao? It's fine, it was Lin Yi who took care of it. Not only did he compensate us with a piece of land, he also gave us a lot of money, Xiaoka sighed. Xiaoka sighed and said, as for what Dake said before, she didn't care and directly ignored it. Yes, those hidden houses are all afraid of Mr. Lin, including our hidden house we don't dare to do anything rash. But Mr. Lin really is a good person. Dake sighed. Sis, do you have a boyfriend? You're not young anymore. Xiaoka didn't know what to say. Did she have a boyfriend? She didn't think so. The male thief didn't respond to her directly, so they were just normal friends. He said that he had a girlfriend and she didn't know if she still had a chance. So you don't have one either? But that's true, you're busy with the orphanage every day, you don't have time to date. Dake misunderstood, thinking that Xiaoka was too shy to talk about it. After all, she was a girl of her age, and it was fine if she was in university, but it was rare that she didn't have a boyfriend. Yeah. Xiaoka nodded. Dake was right. Xiaoka didn't have the time to be in a relationship, and even with the male thief, it was a coincidence that they met. She didn't push for anything. I think Mr. Lin is pretty good. Why don't you try harder? Dake's eyes lit up. Mr. Lin is helping you for free. I think he might be interested in you. He has a few girlfriends already, and he doesn't like me either. Xiaoka's face darkened. She had finally changed the topic, but it came back again. It doesn't matter if he has a few girlfriends, it's a normal thing in the cultivation world. I think Mr. Lin is pretty good, he's a genius, and I heard that he can kill Sky-class masters in 1 second. If you follow him, you won't lose anything. Dake's sudden decision was not the kind of unreliable thinking, but he had his own deep meaning. He had to get his revenge sooner or later, and if he failed, he might even drag his sister down with him. He wanted his sister to follow Lin Yi because he wanted her to have a strong backer. At least the hidden world was afraid of Lin Yi now, and who could say that the ancient world wouldn't act according to Lin Yi's whims? If his sister followed Lin Yi now, there would be fewer obstacles for him to get his revenge. It would be better with Lin Yi's help, but without Lin Yi's help, Dake wouldn't have any worries. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said something like this so carelessly. In the cultivation world, it was normal to have multiple wives and concubines. For example, the young master of the hidden house, Yu Zhentian, had quite a few women, but this wasn't anything new in the hidden house. However, as a brother, Dake didn't want his sister to be someone else's concubine. It was just that this person was Lin Yi, and Dake could accept it. For his sister to have a lifetime of peace, that was why he persuaded her to follow Lin Yi. Xiaoka thought. As expected, her brother was bought over by Lin Yi somehow, and he came here to be his lobbyist. Could it be that Lin Yi wanted her to take the initiative to express her feelings? He wanted her to confess to him? Xiaoka got angrier the more she listened. It's fine if you like me, but you want me to confess to you? What was this, even asking my brother to come here? Sis, just think about it. Mr. Lin is a good person, and if you miss this opportunity, you won't get another one. Dake saw that Xiaoka was silent and thought that she was moved, so he quickly added more strength. Bro! Xiaoka took a deep breath and decided to tell the truth. She wanted to make this clear to her brother. Otherwise, if her brother talked about this every time he came to see her, she would feel annoyed. HM? Dake was startled by Xiaoka's interruption. What's wrong? Bro, actually, I have someone I like. Xiaoka gathered her courage and said, Someone you like? Dake paused and felt a little awkward. He realized that he misunderstood her meaning and messed up the matchmaking process. Luckily, Lin Yi wasn't here, so there was nothing between them. Otherwise, they wouldn't know what to do. Yes, but it's not Lin Yi, Xiaoka said. He's a very caring and attentive man. Oh, then Dake was curious. After all, This was related to his sister's marriage, so naturally he was very attentive. Tell me? And Xiaoka nodded and started talking about her story with the male thief. She'd always wanted to talk to someone, but in the orphanage, the only people she could talk to were the dean and Xiao Ken. Now that she had a brother, she couldn't wait to tell him everything that had happened in the past few years. Speaking of which, it was strange. This was an innate blood relationship. Although Yudake didn't look like her at all, Xiaoka was sure that he was her brother. This feeling grew stronger the longer she stayed with Yudake. So that's how it is. Yudake listened to all the dangers in the tomb, Xiaoka's bravery in the execution field, and the meeting at the auction. It was a soul-stirring story. You guys haven't known each other for a long time, but so many things have happened. No wonder you like him so much. Xiaoka didn't say which tomb it was, and she didn't say it in detail, so Dake didn't connect it to Zhang Liju's tomb. He didn't connect it to Lin either. He was just a follower, and his status wasn't high. Even if he heard rumors about Lin Yi, it was mostly about how Lin Yi killed Sky-class warriors instantly. He didn't know much about the details. Chapter 2656. Brother, you're being a busybody. Forget it, it's a good thing Mr. Lin wasn't here. If he was, it'd be awkward. Yudake waved his hand. Brother, you're saying that it wasn't Lin Yi who asked you to tell me? Xiaoka paused, thinking that she was mistaken. No, why did Mr. Lin ask me to tell you? Yudake paused as well, confused. Actually, it's like this. Xiaoka told Yudake about how Lin Yi helped her time and time again, and how most of Lin Yi's company's profits were invested into the construction of the orphanage. Brother, if Lin Yi doesn't have feelings for me, I really don't know what he's after. Could it be that he just wants to help me? Yudake went silent. Yeah, he wasn't a little kid who had just entered society. These years in the hidden right house, he'd seen too many exchanges of benefits. Naturally, he understood Xiaoka's concerns. Plus, he knew that Lin Yi saved him because Lin Yi wanted to plant a spy in the hidden right house. It was just that Lin Yi's strength had exploded, and he didn't need this spy anymore. No matter what, Yudake was grateful to Lin Yi for saving his life, and he didn't care if it was a spy or not. But his sister was right, Lin Yi was too good to the orphanage, too good to the point that it could be described as too good. The only thing that could make Lin Yi scheme was Xiaoka's beauty. Otherwise, why would Lin Yi do it? Was it just to show his love? But there were many ways to show love. There was more than one orphanage nearby. There was one in Donghai too. Even if it wasn't as big as Xiaoka's, he'd never heard of Lin Yi donating to the orphanage. Brother, tell me, what should I do? Xiaoka was a little lost. Actually, I should repay him with my body, but I have someone else in my heart. Even if I force myself to be with him, I can't guarantee that my body won't cheat, but I can't guarantee that my mind won't cheat. Rather than being unhappy, why not? Xiaoka was a little lost. She didn't know what to say. Then why didn't you clarify things with Mr. Lin? Yudake asked. Mr. Lin should be a reasonable person, right? You won't force others against their will, right? I did, but he didn't admit it. He said he didn't like me. What else could I say? Xiaoka smiled bitterly. But, brother, do you believe it? He's only doing this to help me without asking for anything in return? Moreover, he brought you to see me. I guess this is also the reason. I guess he knows that I have someone else in my heart, so he wants to use this method to move me bit by bit so that I will take the initiative to be with him? That's all I can think of. Man, forget it. If that's the case, I'll talk to Mr. Lin later. I hope he can understand. Yudake was helpless, but there was nothing he could do. He didn't want his sister to be unhappy. There were many ways to repay Lin. Marrying him was one, but it wasn't the only way. Yudake thought that if he could get his revenge, he'd be Lin Yi's lackey. Xiaoka heard her brother's words and nodded happily. Brother, you're the best. Originally, I wanted Mr. Lin to protect you for the rest of your life, but it seems like it won't work now. Yudake lowered his voice. But it's not like there's no other way. In our family, there's a secret art passed down from generation to generation. It's in my hands, and when I bring it to you next time, your bloodline will be able to cultivate as well. At that time, you'll have to cultivate to protect yourself. Although the process will be painful, I need you to have the ability to protect yourself. Xiaoka's eyes widened. She didn't think that her family would have a secret art passed down from generation to generation. But you must secretly cultivate this art. Before you master it, you must not show it to others in case you get into trouble. Back then, it was because of this art that our family went through a huge change. Yu Dake said carefully. Xiaoka, do you understand? I understand. Xiaoka nodded solemnly. Her breathing was rapid, and her heart was beating fast. She didn't think that her family's secret art would be this important. How powerful was it to be able to bring about trouble? At the same time, Xiaoka was relaxed and happy. If her strength increased by leaps and bounds, would she be able to fly together with the male thief? When she had strength, the way to repay Lin Yi would be to work for him instead of selling her body. And remember, don't tell anyone about this, not even your master. Yu Dake solemnly said, fortunately, you've only cultivated external martial arts and not internal mental cultivation methods. Otherwise, if you had cultivated other internal mental cultivation methods, you wouldn't be able to cultivate this. Xiaoka thought that she was lucky. She just remembered why her brother said that she didn't practice spiritual arts, and that it would be better to practice physical arts. So this was the reason. In actuality, the headmaster of the orphanage had spiritual arts as well, but she didn't give it to Xiaoka to practice. She was afraid that Xiaoka's enemies would find out and come after her. After all, Xiaoka often went out and showed herself, and the chances of her being exposed was much higher than the headmaster herself. So, she only taught Xiaoka Qinggong, and it was a good thing for her. All right, we siblings have talked enough. Mr. Lin is still waiting outside. Let's hurry and let him in. Yu Dake said. Okay. Xiaoka's mood was much better. First, she had a powerful art to practice, and second, her brother promised to tell Lin Yi about her situation. So, she didn't look as gloomy as before. Lin Yi was a gentleman. When Yu Dake and Xiaoka were talking, he didn't eavesdrop. Instead, he stood at the end of the hallway and looked at the night view. When he heard the door open, Lin Yi turned around and walked over. Finished. And Mr. Lin, sorry, it's been a bit long. You didn't wait too long, right? Yu Dake said apologetically. It's fine. You siblings haven't seen each other for a long time. Naturally, you have a lot of things to talk about. It's already very fast. Lin Yi smiled. I was even preparing to practice on the floor. That's good. Mr. Lin, please come in. Yu Dake made a welcoming gesture, letting Lin Yi into the room. Chapter 2657. With his relationship with Yu Xiaoka, he didn't think it was a big deal. After all, they were even closer at the market. However, Lin Yi's actions made Yu Xiaoka frown. Didn't Lin Yi think of himself as an outsider? How dare he sit on a girl's bed? Didn't he know what taboo was? This is the school's donation check. I just happened to send it over. Lin Yi passed the check to Yu Xiaoka and said, just go to the bank and transfer the money. Thank you. Lin Yi was here to deliver the check, so Yu Xiaoka didn't say much. She took the check and ignored Lin Yi's action of sitting on her bed. Her brother was going to tell him everything soon anyway, so it didn't matter. I came to give you the check. Since there's nothing else, I'm going back. Yu Dake, do you want to go back with me or stay here? Linist. I'll go back with you. Yu Dake had a mission from Yu Xiaoka, and he couldn't go out for too long as he was a guest of the Hidden House Yu. Okay, let's go. Xiaoka, call me anytime if there's anything. Lin Yi said to Yu Xiaoka. Okay. Because the matter was about to be resolved, Yu Xiaoka didn't treat Lin Yi coldly this time. She waved at Lin Yi for the first time. Lin Yi didn't know what was going on. He thought that Yu Xiaoka's period was over and she was back to normal. He went downstairs with Yu Dake and got in the car. Lin Yi asked, how is it? Does Xiaoka believe your identity now? Yes, I do. Yu Dake nodded and said solemnly, thank you for this, Mr. Lin. If it wasn't for Mr. Lin, we wouldn't be able to meet again. We would have been separated by life and death. Hee, that's a little too serious. I'm going to get some clothes for Yao Yao and the others. Are you coming with me? Lin Yi asked. Let's go together, Yu Dake said. It just so happens that I have something to tell Mr. Lin. Okay, then tell me. Lin Yi started the car and drove in the direction of Ocean View Bay Villa area. Mr. Lin, you saved me, let me meet my sister, and even ran around for my sister's orphanage. We will always remember your kindness. One day, we will be at your beck and call, and we will definitely repay you. Yu Dake said solemnly. There's no need for that. I told you it's nothing. Also, Xiaoka's orphanage is a private matter between us. It has nothing to do with you, so you don't have to mind it too much. Lin Yi said nonchalantly. However, Lin Yi's words made Yu Dake's face suddenly change. As expected, Lin Yi liked Xiaoka. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a private matter. It seemed like Xiaoka's guess was right. Thinking of this, Yu Dake couldn't help but sigh. But no matter how difficult it was, he had to say it. Otherwise, he would fail Xiaoka's trust. Thinking of this, Yu Dake braced himself and said, Mr. Lin, do you like my sister? Lin Yi paused and didn't know how to answer. Before, Lin Yi really didn't like Xiaoka. He only had a good impression of her, but after Xiaoka went to the execution field, Lin Yi developed feelings for her. Also, at the market, Xiaoka was in Lin Yi's heart, so it would be a joke if he said he didn't like Xiaoka. But to say that he liked her, which identity did he have? Seeing that Lin Yi didn't answer, Yu Dake was even more convinced. He quickly continued, Mr. Lin, actually, my sister has someone she likes. If you like her, I know that you are our savior, but feelings can't be forced. We will repay you in other ways. Someone you like? Who is it? Lin Yi asked subconsciously. He didn't think that Xiaoka would have a change of heart so quickly. It's someone called the male thief. Yu Dake said, in my sister's heart, she has fallen deeply in love with this person, so... Cough cough. Lin Yi realized that he'd been too worried. Thinking about it, the male thief and Lin Yi were two different people to Xiaoka, and while Lin Yi knew about their identities, Xiaoka didn't. It seemed like she'd misunderstood him because he'd been too nice to her, and that was why she'd asked Yu Dake to be her mediator. Lin Yi didn't know what to do, but at the same time, he felt that it was funny. He wanted to use Lin Yi's identity to tease Xiaoka. If it was before, Lin Yi wouldn't do something so boring, but now that he had feelings for Xiaoka, he didn't mind joking around with her. What's wrong, Mr. Lin? Yu Dake jumped when he saw Lin Yi coughing. He thought that Lin Yi was hurt. He quickly said, Mr. Lin, I didn't mean to hurt you, I just wanted to say that it's better to get the pain over with. Lin Yi laughed after he finished coughing. He looked at Yu Dake strangely. Who said I'm hurt? I just think, it's nothing. That male thief isn't as strong as me. At most, he's as strong as me. I still have a chance. Yu Dake felt helpless when he saw how stubborn Lin Yi was, but he didn't want to push it too far. After all, Lin Yi was his savior, and it wouldn't be good if he said it again. You don't have to worry about this. I don't want you to get involved. Although you are Xiaoka's brother, we just met. Lin Yi looked at Yu Dake. Okay. What else could Yu Dake say? He nodded reluctantly. Since Lin Yi said so, it would be rude of him to interfere. It seemed like he could only let Lin Yi and Xiaoka solve it themselves. He reminded, Xiaoka said that if you insist, Mr. Lin, she might cheat on you even if she's with you. What? Lin Yi was shocked. She means she's cheating on me mentally? Yu Dake added. Oh, you like male thieves, right? It's fine, I don't mind. Lin Yi nodded. Actually, it's fine even if she cheats on me physically, I don't mind. Chapter 2658. The car slowly drove into Seaview Bay, and Lin Yi stopped the car in front of House Chu's villa. He got off the car and said to Yu Dake, wait here for me, I'll go get some clothes. All right, Mr. Lin, go ahead. Yu Dake said, but he was still trying to figure out what Lin Yi's words meant. What did he mean by cheating on a male thief with her body? He didn't care? Did he really not care? Did he care too much about Xiaoka to care about these things? Or did he not care about Xiaoka at all and wanted to treat her as a toy? The more Yu Dake thought about it, the more conflicted he got. He was even more conflicted than Xiaoka. If Lin Yi knew that he would be conflicted like this, Lin Yi wouldn't have teased him. Whether he cared or not, Lin Yi wouldn't make himself a cuckold. But others didn't know, but Lin Yi knew. Lin Yi and the male thief, what was the difference? Lin Yi got off the car and entered the villa. Looking at the familiar scene, Lin Yi was filled with emotions. Lin Yi went upstairs and went to Meng Yao and Yushu's room. This used to be Lin Yi's forbidden area, but Lin Yi didn't know when it started, but the two's room was open to Lin Yi, and it was like walking on flat ground. He grabbed a suitcase and started packing Meng Yao and Yushu's winter clothes into it. There were way too many clothes for the two of them, however, and he could only choose according to his taste. He went downstairs to his room after packing the clothes for Meng Yao and Yushu. Lin Yi didn't have many clothes, only a cotton leather jacket, which Faubert bought for him when he first came here. This was the first winter Lin Yi came here, and he didn't buy any clothes, so it was convenient. He opened the wardrobe, took out his cotton leather jacket, and put it on the top of the suitcase. However, when Lin Yi took out the leather jacket, he took out a tattered school uniform from the wardrobe. Lin Yi picked up the tattered school uniform with some doubts, but he had no impression of it at all. When did he throw the tattered school uniform in the closet? Why didn't they throw away this tattered uniform? Why did they leave it here? However, when Lin Yi picked up the torn school uniform and examined it carefully, he realized that this school uniform was actually a girl's school uniform. Could it be Yao Yao or Shu? But why did Yao Yao and Shu put the uniform here? Or did he put it there himself? Did he have a habit of collecting school uniforms? Lin Yi couldn't figure it out. He couldn't figure out where this uniform came from. Since he couldn't remember where this uniform came from, Lin Yi didn't dare throw it away. He put it back in the wardrobe and planned to ask Yao Yao and Shu if they knew where this uniform came from. He put the uniform back, but there was a familiar smell in his hands. It came from that uniform, but Lin Yi felt that it wasn't the Miss or Shu's smell. Even if they used perfume, it wouldn't smell like this. As for Wang Xinyan, Lin Yi didn't think that he had the chance to get her uniform in high school, right? Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, didn't even wear a school uniform. She was one of the big four in school, and she didn't even wear a school uniform to school. Lin Yi shook his head. Since he couldn't think of anything right now, he decided not to think about it. He packed his things and left the villa, putting his suitcase in the trunk before getting in the car and heading back to Donghai. Dake left that night, going back to the hidden right house and exchanging contact numbers with Lin. He said that he would contact him when he had time. He was very regretful that he wasn't able to help Xiaoke, but there was nothing he could do. On one side was his savior, and on the other side was his sister. He couldn't force anything. Meng Yao and Yushu weren't asleep yet. Seeing Lin Yi come back, the miss, who was watching cartoons on the sofa, walked over and took the suitcase from Lin. Lin, you're back. Thank you. Hi, you're welcome. Lin Yi smiled. The leather jacket on top is mine, and the rest are yours and Shu's. Oh, right, there's a thing. In my closet, there's a torn girl's uniform. Is it yours? Ah. Meng Yao paused, confused. What girl's uniform? It's our Songshan's uniform, but it's torn. It seems like you purposely kept it? Lin Yi said. You kept it? Meng Yao was even more confused. She looked at Lin Yi up and down. She didn't think that Lin Yi had the hobby of collecting other people's uniforms. I don't know if it's me, I don't remember. Lin Yi said, feeling a little weirded out. It wasn't a big deal, but he wanted to get to the bottom of it and get to the bottom of it. Then, Meng Yao was about to say something when she raised her head to see Yushu standing behind Lin Yi, blinking at her furiously. Meng Yao froze as she thought of a possibility. Oh, I think that's my uniform. I threw it in the villa before you moved in. Yours. Lin Yi looked at Meng Yao, suspicious. Yours? If it's torn, why didn't you throw it away? Oh, it's a uniform I like, so I kept it. A uniform you like? Lin Yi was even more puzzled. Since when did the miss like uniforms? And why did she keep it when it was torn? As the chairman of Pengzhan's first school, he could have as many uniforms as he wanted. Why would she keep a torn uniform? Oh, Shield Bro, what's up with you today? Why are you so fixated on a uniform? What's there to be surprised about? Yushu came out to mess things up. Oh, Shu knows. Is Shield Bro trying to use the school uniform to do some flirting with to find out who he's fantasizing about? Lin Yi's face reddened at Yushu's words. He remembered how Yushu had caught him in the act when he first came to the villa. He coughed twice, realizing that he was being a little weird today. What was he doing with a torn uniform? Chapter 2659. However, The forgetfulness herb was targeted at those in Snowy Valley. Since they came to Snowy Valley, they wouldn't be able to come into contact with the things of the past, so there wouldn't be this problem. However, it wasn't the same for Lin. Lin Yi was still living in the same place, but Tang Yun wasn't there anymore, so his memories would often be messed up. It's fine, I was just asking. Lin Yi shook his head and didn't dwell on this topic. Meng Yao and Yushu let out a sigh of relief, afraid that Lin Yi would think of something else. However, these few things made them more and more worried. They didn't know if Lin Yi would come into contact with more things related to Tang Yun. If so, what would they do then? They didn't know how Tang Yun was doing. Meng Yao and Yushu missed her very much, but they knew that Tang Yun couldn't call them easily, and they couldn't go to Snowy Valley to visit Tang Yun, so they couldn't tell Lin. The two of them went upstairs, both a little worried. Shu, your idea isn't working. Didn't you say that if you found a big wife for Lin Yi he wouldn't miss Tang Yun anymore? Now that he's found a big wife, he still misses her. Meng Yao said helplessly, if I knew that, I wouldn't have found one for him. It must be because Xinyan sis hasn't agreed to be the big wife yet. It'll be fine after she agrees. Yushu said, Yao Yao sis, are you jealous? Are you regretting it? If you knew that you would get the big wife, would you? What does it have to do with me? I don't think Wang Xinyan is bad. Meng Yao shook her head. I'm just saying Wang Xinyan can help Lin Yi. We can't let outsiders take advantage of her. Yeah, but Yao Yao sis' position as the big wife is going to be taken away. Yushu said. What big wife? Don't drag me into this. What should we do about Tang Yun first? Meng Yao ignored Yushu's question. Yao Yao sis has a guilty conscience, Yushu pouted. Yushu pouted, but seeing that Meng Yao didn't want to talk about this topic, she could only say, why don't we ask Tang Yun sis? Meng Yao asked. Why don't we let Kong Xiaobo and Xiaofan make a trip to Snow Valley? We can't go, but they can. Yushu suggested. Sure, let them see how Tang Yun is doing. I miss her a lot. Meng Yao's personality was like this. She used to fight with Tang Yun all the time, but now that their relationship was better, she missed Tang Yun a lot. Yeah, I'll give Kong Xiaobo a call then. Yushu said as she picked up the phone. Kong Xiaobo didn't expect that Yushu would ask him to visit Tang Yun. This was a pleasant surprise, because Xiaofan and Lu Xinwen mentioned that they wanted to visit Tang Yun when they came to the company, but Kong Xiaobo didn't know how to explain it to Lin Yi. After all, he was the vice president of the medicine company now. He couldn't just leave for a vacation for no reason, right? Even if he wanted to go for a vacation, he had to tell Lin Yi first. Plus, he just went for a vacation with Xiaofan last summer. Taking another vacation in such a short time? It wasn't realistic, so Xiaofan and Lu Xinwen's suggestion could only be put aside for now. Now that Yushu asked him to visit Tang Yun and said that she could solve the problem on Lin Yi's side, Kong Xiaobo was naturally very happy and immediately agreed. On the other hand, the reason Yushu gave to Lin Yi was very simple. Didn't she have a high fever often? She needed a kind of herb, and this herb had to be bought from a medicine merchant personally. This merchant was recommended by Wang Xinyan's father, so it was very reliable. This merchant also had a lot of wholesale herbs, so she asked Kong Xiaobo, the vice president of the medicine company, to go and buy the herb Shu needed. As for the other herbs, if they were cheap, he would buy them together. Although Lin Yi was a little curious as to how Yushu knew that she needed the herb, Yushu often did unexpected things, so Lin Yi didn't find it strange. Yushu didn't say anything, so he didn't ask. It was Wang Xinyan's father who recommended it, so it shouldn't be a problem. This also involved Wang Xinyan, but after Wang Xinyan knew about it, she was willing to help. However, she was troubled because Meng Yao wanted her to be the first wife to replace Tang Yun. She really couldn't do it. Tang Yun couldn't meet Lin Yi because of the ancient sect, and she was the same. Because of Kong Ming's identity in the Sky Elixir sect, she couldn't be with Lin Yi openly. It would also hurt Lin Yi. So, Wang Xinyan was troubled. Should she confess to Meng Yao? Should she tell Meng Yao about her difficulties? But no matter what, Kong Xiaobo brought Xiaofan and Lu Xinwen to Snowy Valley, and Kong Xiaobo went with Yushu's mission. He had a lot of questions to ask her. The happiest ones were Xiaofan and Lu Xinwen. The two were Tang Yun's childhood friends. Now that Tang Yun was gone, they missed her very much. They were very excited to be able to visit Tang Yun. Early in the morning, an overseas detective came to Songshan's police station. Because Tang Yuqi was very famous overseas, there were people in the police station who knew about Tang Yuqi's name. They had seen some cases that Tang Yuqi solved on TV, so they respected him. So when he suddenly came to Songshan's police station, everyone was surprised. They thought that he was investigating some case. However, when Tang Yuqi explained his purpose, everyone was shocked. They didn't think that the famous detective Tang Yuqi's hometown was in Songshan. He came here to look for his uncle. Tang Juqing, this name sounds familiar. I remember now. Captain Song was in charge of a case before. It's his family. The person who spoke was the new captain of the Criminal Investigation Department. He used to work under Lingshan, and his surname was Zhang. Oh, a case happened in his family? Tang Yuqi's face changed. He asked worriedly, what happened? Tang Yuqi was a detective. He knew that a case that the Criminal Investigation Department was in charge of was not a small case. He was worried that something big had happened. Chapter 2660. I see. Tang Yuqi breathed a sigh of relief. Tang Juqing's daughter was his cousin. It was good that she was fine. Captain Zhang naturally knew the whole story of the case, but there were some details that he couldn't tell Tang Yuqi. This involved Lin Yi and Zhao Qibing, so it wasn't appropriate for him to say too much. Now, Tang Juqing has moved. I'll ask the police to help you find his new address. You can visit him. Okay, thank you. Tang Yuqi quickly said. Soon, Tang Juqing's new address was found. When his family came to move their residence, they moved to the new address, Changxiang Garden, the area developed by Fatty Lai. Tang Yuqi didn't waste any time and went to Changxiang Garden in a rented car. He knocked on Tang Juqing's door according to the house number provided by Captain Zhang. However, no one came out to open the door after a long time. Just when Tang Juqing thought that the person in the house had left and was about to wait outside, he knocked on the neighbor's door. Who are you looking for? An old man came out from the room next door and looked at Tang Yuqi cautiously. Hello, old man, is this Tang Juqing's house? Tang Yuqi asked with a smile. Yes, you're looking for him? The old man didn't let his guard down and was ready to ring the alarm to call the security. Who are you? Oh, sir. My name is Tang Yuqi. I'm from overseas and I'm Tang Juqing's nephew. I just came from the police station and someone from the police station gave me my second uncle's address. Tang Yuqi introduced himself. Oh, so you're Juqing's nephew. The old man heard that Tang Yuqi got the address from the police station and sighed in relief. It's like this, you're late. Tang Juqing's family has moved away. Moved away? Didn't they just move here not long ago? Tang Yuqi was confused. Tang Juqing's family had just moved here not long ago and this area was newly built. There was no reason for them to move away right after they moved here. They just moved here. But I don't know the details, but I saw Tang Juqing and his wife's family packing their luggage and left in a car. They haven't been back since, the old man said. Out of town? He never came back? Tang Yuqi suddenly felt that he was late and quickly asked. Yes, after he left. After that, there was no news of him and he never came back. The old neighbor nodded. When did they leave? Sir, do you know? Tang Yuqi quickly asked. Probably around July or August. If you want to find them, you'd better ask someone who is familiar with their family. I don't know anything else, said the old neighbor. Okay, sir, I'll have to trouble you. I'll go to the police station and ask. Tang Yuqi didn't know anyone here, so he was completely in the dark. He didn't know who Tang Juqing's family usually interacted with. He could only go to the police station and ask for more information. After leaving the Changxiang home community, Tang Yuqi returned to the police station again. He found Captain Zhang and told him about the trouble he encountered in detail. The whole family moved away? Captain Zhang was also stunned. He immediately asked the household registration police and said to Tang Yuqi, we don't have any news here. They probably didn't move. Maybe they went to a friend or relative's house. Should be. Captain Zhang, do you know who is more familiar with my second uncle's family? Because his family just moved to this community. They aren't familiar with the neighbors. Tang Yuqi said. His family is quite familiar with our old captain, Captain Song. Why don't you ask Captain Song? Captain Zhang thought about it and suggested, the slums have been demolished, but the new community hasn't been built yet. The people who moved back haven't moved back yet. They are all renting houses outside. I don't know who is closer to their family, so it'll be difficult to find them one by one. How about this? You can ask Captain Song and see if you can get any information. Okay, then I'll trouble Captain Zhang to introduce me to them, Tang Yuqi nodded. Captain Zhang called Lingshan and told her about Tang Yuqi's situation. He wanted to tell her over the phone, but Tang Yuqi didn't have anything to do, and Songshan wasn't too far from Donghai, so he went to Donghai personally. Lingshan didn't show anything on the phone, only saying that she would try her best to help Tang Yuqi. But after hanging up, Lingshan fell into deep thought. Tang Yun's training in Shuegu was a secret. Lingshan knew about it, but she couldn't tell Tang Yuqi so easily. Even if Tang Yuqi was Tang Juqing's nephew, Tang Yun's cousin, this involved a lot of trouble, especially Lin. Would Tang Yuqi's appearance involve Lin? So Lingshan was hesitating whether or not she should tell Tang Yuqi the truth. Just when Lingshan was hesitating, Tang Yuqi came to the police station in Donghai and met Lingshan. Lingshan's beauty brightened Tang Yuqi's eyes. He didn't expect this policewoman to be so valiant and charming. Tang Yuqi was an authentic Chinese, and his aesthetics were also Eastern. He didn't have a girlfriend when he was overseas, and he hadn't met anyone suitable either. He didn't think that he would meet a girl in Donghai that could move him. Hello, Miss Song, I'm Tang Yuqi. Captain Zhang from Songshan's police station introduced me to you. Tang Yuqi said politely, but he didn't call Lingshan as formal as before. He called her Miss Song. Hello, Mr. Tang. Lingshan didn't mind how Tang Yuqi called her. She thought that he was from overseas and was used to calling young ladies that. Mr. Tang, are you looking for Tang Juqing's family? Yes, Miss Song. I heard from Captain Zhang that you have a good relationship with my second uncle's family. You were also in charge of my cousin's case. Is that true? Tang Yuqi asked. That's true, but I'm not that close with Tang Juqing's family. I was transferred to Donghai after that, and I haven't been in contact with them since, Lingshan said. Miss Song, as far as I know, when my second uncle's family moved, you weren't in Donghai yet, right? So please think about it. My second uncle's family moved in July or August. Do you have any impression of that? Tang Yuqi was a detective, and he paid attention to the details. He wasn't trying to refute Lingshan on purpose, but he just said it. Chapter 2661. Especially since Tang Yun going to Shuegu was a secret, without Mingyao's permission, she couldn't tell Tang Yuqi. This was beyond her job scope, and she couldn't help Tang Yuqi at all. They left in July or August, right? I didn't pay attention to that. I thought they left recently. Is that so? Tang Yuqi's sensitivity as a detective told him that Lingshan was hiding something from him, as if she was hiding something from him. Naturally, but I can help you ask around. I have a friend who's pretty close to Tang Yun. I'll see if she knows anything. Lingshan didn't say anything definite. She wanted to ask Mingyao first. Oh, if that's the case, can you introduce me to this friend so that we can pay a visit together? Tang Yuqi's eyes lit up after listening, and he quickly asked. I'm afraid not. I can't reveal her identity before this friend agrees. Lingshan shook her head. She's different from me. You asked Captain Zhang to help me find your uncle. It's my job, but my friend doesn't want people to disturb her. I hope you can understand, Mr. Tang. I understand. Tang Yuqi nodded. I was being too impulsive. All right, Captain Lingshan, this is my name card. My contact number is on it. I'll stay here for now, and we'll keep in touch. If you have any news, please let me know immediately. Sure, I'll let you know when I have news. Lingshan nodded and took Tang Yuqi's name card. It was written in a foreign language, but Tang Yuqi had written a temporary number on it. Tang Yuqi didn't say anything more. He stood up and left. From Lingshan's tone and expression, he could tell that she was hiding something from him. It was just that he couldn't ask her about it. From what he could see, it had to do with Lingshan's friend. If Lingshan didn't want to talk about it, there was no point in asking. He might as well wait patiently. Lingshan waited for Tang Yuqi to leave before calling Mengyao. She'd had some conflicts with Mengyao in the past, but ever since they'd worked together to help Mengyao escape with the unconscious Lin Yi, their relationship had gotten a lot better. Sister Lingshan? Are you looking for me? Meng Yao was a little surprised. She was in the middle of a class and Lingshan was calling her. She'd asked for leave from the class and answered the call. Usually, Lingshan wouldn't call her for a chat if there was nothing going on, so the only possibility was that something was up. Yao, I do have something important to discuss with you. I can't make up my mind, so I'm asking for your opinion. Lingshan said. Are you asking for my opinion? Meng Yao was a little taken aback. She didn't understand why Lingshan was asking for her opinion. Lingshan sis, why are you asking me about your matters? I didn't make it clear. This isn't just about me, it's about Lin Yi and Tang Yun. Lingshan quickly added. Actually, it's like this, someone's looking for Tang Yun? Looking for Tang Yun? What's going on? Meng Yao was shocked. Who is it? It's not an enemy, it's a relative of Tang Yun's family. Don't worry Mao, it's like this. With that, Lingshan told Meng Yao about Tang Yuqi looking for Tang Juqing's family in detail. Meng Yao couldn't help but go into deep thought after listening to Lingshan's story. She really couldn't just tell anyone about Tang Yun. Tang Yuqi was Tang Juqing's nephew, Tang Yun's cousin, but they weren't really familiar with each other. She didn't know what kind of person he was, and she didn't know if he'd reveal this secret. Most importantly, this was hidden from Lin Yi. If Tang Yuqi found out, would he blabber to Lin Yi? If he did, then all their efforts would be wasted. With Lin Yi's personality, he'd definitely go to the Snowy Valley to find Tang Yun and stop her heartless arts. But if he really did stop her, would the Snowy Valley let Lin Yi go? With Lin Yi's current strength, while he could fight people above his level and kill Sky-class masters in one hit, he was still far from the ancient Sky-class late-phase peak. Meng Yao wouldn't let Lin Yi take the risk. Plus, it was hard to say whether Tang Yun was still the same Tang Yun from before. Would Tang Yun still have anything to do with Lin Yi after learning the heartless arts? All of these were Meng Yao's concerns. After some hesitation, Meng Yao said, Lingshan sis, I think we should be careful about this. Although this person is Tang Yun's cousin, and he's a very close relative, we don't know what kind of person he is. I think we should observe him for a while. If he's really reliable, then it's fine to tell him, but if he's not, then it'll only make things worse. Most importantly, is this Tang Yuqi a practitioner? Does he know about practitioners? Would there be any other troubles if I told him? He's called Tang Yuqi? Tang Yuqi's name sounded a little familiar to Meng Yao after she'd finished her speech. She seemed to have heard it somewhere before, but Meng Yao couldn't remember who it was. It was probably someone she wasn't familiar with. Maybe she'd only heard of this person's name or met him once. Meng Yao didn't want to waste any more time thinking about it. Yes, Tang Yuqi. What's wrong, Yao Yao? Do you know him? Lingshan paused. I don't know him, but it sounds familiar. Maybe I heard from Lin Yi that there's a disciple of the hidden house Tang called Tang Yuqi. Maybe that's why. Oh, actually, I think so too. I'm going to observe this Tang Yuqi. If this person is really a very reliable person, then I don't mind telling him something. But if this person is not reliable, then forget it. Lingshan agreed. Also, the thing you said about him knowing practitioners is very important. I'll find a chance to test him. All right, Lingshan sis. You decide, but try not to affect Lin. Meng Yao said. Okay, I understand. Lingshan nodded. Don't worry, I'll act according to the situation. Chapter 2662. The hidden house you was in a small town with beautiful scenery. On top of a small hill, there were many European-style castles and manors. This was the base of the hidden house you. When these hidden houses chose their location, they would usually choose a secluded place because it was far away from the hustle and bustle, and the air was less polluted. It was convenient. This was also why the hidden house Han and house Zhao built their houses in the suburbs. The town wasn't a tourist attraction, and although the castle on the hill was beautiful, it was private property. There weren't many tourists here. Qibing and Uncle Zhu found a hotel to stay in after arriving. Uncle Zhu was confused. He didn't know what Qibing was doing here. He'd been here for a day already, and there was still no news or mission. He asked Qibing, but Qibing only smiled and didn't say anything, only telling him to wait patiently. Uncle Zhu was afraid that Qibing would suspect him, so he didn't ask anymore. He waited in the hotel room, but in the meantime, he secretly called Lin. "Boss, it's Second Zhu," Uncle Zhu said in a low voice. He didn't need to be on guard against Qibing. He was an Earth-class early phase, and he didn't work hard to stabilize his strength. There was no way he could hear what they were talking about. Qibing's senses weren't even as good as Second Zhu's. Although Lin Yi had helped Second Zhu to level up, he had been working hard to stabilize his strength all this time. To him, it was normal to train hard for the past few decades, and it would be abnormal if he didn't do it. Lin Yi's strength was much easier to stabilize than the others, and Uncle Zhu only needed to stabilize the part of his strength that the qi-gathering pill had given him. "Oh, Uncle Zhu, what's the matter?" "Linist. Boss, Zhao Qibing brought me to Sky Rain Town. I don't know what he's up to, but we've been here for a whole day. I asked him, but he didn't tell me what he's up to," Uncle Zhu said. "Oh, what kind of place is Rain Town?" Lin Yi didn't know that the Hidden House U was in Rain Town. This is the location of the Hidden House U. Zhao Qibing's Thousand Kicks technique was obtained from the Hidden House U, so I suspect that he's here to ask for some sort of technique again? Uncle Zhu guessed. "Oh, that's where the Hidden House U is." Lin Yi was a little surprised, but he didn't know what Qibing was going to do. "Second Zhu, pay close attention to Qibing's movements and let me know if there's anything." "Okay, boss. I'll see if he's going to come up with a new trump card." Zhu Lao Air nodded. Qibing was actually waiting for Yushan's call as well. It wasn't that he didn't trust Uncle Zhu, but that he didn't want anything to happen. Qibing followed Elder Yu's words and hid it from him as well. Finally, in the evening, Qibing received Yushan's call. "Brother Yushan, how is it? Is there any news?" Qibing saw Yushan's name on the phone and asked excitedly. "Later, the Hidden House you will be having a family dinner. After the dinner, I'll try to bring Yuning out. If I come out, I'll text you. You should be prepared. Is that okay?" Yushan asked quickly. "No problem, I've prepared everything. Don't worry, Yushan bro, I'll definitely catch Yuning. Tell me where to wait?" Qibing patted his chest and promised. "Later, I'll think of a way to get Yuning to come out with me. It should be near the Hidden House U's back mountain." "Just wait there," Yushan said. "Okay, I'll go now." Qibing nodded. After hanging up, Qikuan went to knock on Uncle Zhu's door. Uncle Zhu, who had just called Lin Yi, jumped in fright. "Who is it?" "Uncle Zhu, it's me, open the door," Qibing said hurriedly. From Qibing's tone, Uncle Zhu thought that Qibing had heard the conversation between him and Lin. His heart almost exploded. But he still opened the door quietly and asked carefully, "Master Bing, I was playing with my phone just now. What's up?" "Oh, then stop playing and come with me to do something. Quick." Qibing didn't care at all what Uncle Zhu was doing. But Uncle Zhu breathed in relief and asked, "What do you need to do?" "Master Bing, I need to prepare. Catch someone." Qibing said, "Quick, no need to prepare. We'll go straight away." "Okay." Uncle Zhu nodded and quickly followed Qibing out of the room. He asked as they walked, "Who are we catching?" "You'll know when we get there." Qibing waved his hand and didn't say much. Uncle Zhu had no choice but to leave with Qibing, Hidden House U. Today was the night of the Yu's family banquet. Every few days, the Hidden House would have a banquet, and all the direct descendants of House Yu would attend. Yushan and Yuning, as the younger generation of the house, were no exceptions. If it were before, Yushan wouldn't attend an event like this. He'd already given up, and he didn't want to have any status in the house anymore. He was a cripple anyway, so he didn't want to attend a family gathering like this. But today was different. He had a mission to complete, so he came. Yu Shaochen was a little surprised that Yushan was able to attend. He didn't really like him, but as the head of the house, he still nodded to him with a smile. "Yushan, you're finally willing to come to the family dinner today? I thought you'd only come out when there are outsiders." Uncle, I've thought it through. If I'm crippled, then so be it. I can't be a cripple anymore, but I can still do something for the house." "I can't be a cripple forever," Yushan said. "Oh, it's great that you can think that way," Shaochen said after a slight pause. The banquet this time was no different from the usual ones. The old master of House Yu came down the mountain as well, but he didn't say much. Even when he saw Yushan, He only nodded and didn't say much. The banquet ended quickly, and just when everyone was about to leave, Yushan spoke up. Ning, it's rare that your brother is in such a good mood today. How about you push your brother out for a spin? Chapter 2663. Yuning looked at her father, Xiaochen, a little confused. Xiaochen found it strange as well, but thinking about how Yushan's personality had changed before the meal, Xiaochen couldn't reject him. He nodded. Ning, just push your brother Yushan around, you two can talk. If Yushan walks out of the shadow, then I'll give him some housekeeping work. Okay, father. Yuning nodded and pushed Yushan's wheelchair out of the hidden house Yu. The old ancestor of House Yu had already left, so he didn't know about this. Xiaochen didn't think much about it. Naturally, he didn't think that there would be a problem near his house. Yuning pushed Yushan out of the castle and to the manor behind the house. She didn't know what to say. She knew how Yushan got hurt, and although it was his own fault, at least it was caused by her brother and Lin Yi, so she still felt guilty. Ning, I know that in your heart, you must be thinking that I hate your brother, right? Yushan saw that Yuning wasn't talking, so he took the initiative to start a conversation. He had to talk, otherwise, how could he stall for time and let Yuning push him to the back of the mountain? Yuning paused, not expecting Yushan to be so direct. But she shook her head. No, we're all you and we're all cousins. It's all in the past, and Yushan bro, coming to the banquet today proves that you've walked out of the shadow of your injury, right? Yeah, you're right. There's a saying that goes, you can't write two U's in one stroke. Although Yu Bing and an outsider beat me into a cripple, in the end, it's my own fault. I was injured because I wasn't strong enough, so who can I blame? It's fine as long as you think it through, Yushan smiled. These days, I've been thinking about a lot of things. What are you doing? Can't you see us siblings talking about family matters? Why are you so close? Are you trying to eavesdrop? Yushan suddenly stopped talking and yelled at a servant who was taking care of the garden nearby. Young Master Yushan. I didn't eavesdrop. The servant was startled and hurriedly shook his head to show his innocence. Brother Yushan, he's just working here. I'm sure he has no intention of eavesdropping. Don't make things difficult for him. Yuning had a good heart and quickly dissuaded him. However, she did not doubt Yushan's behavior. Yushan was like this. Ever since he was crippled, his temper was not very good. He often scolded the servants and disciples in the house, so his current behavior was normal for Yuning. Aren't you going to thank Miss Yuning? Yushan snorted. Thank you, Miss Yuning, thank you. The servant said gratefully. Xiao Ning, let's go. Let's go to the back of the mountain where there's no one. We don't want the servants to eavesdrop. Yushan snorted again, then said to Yuning. Oh, okay. With the previous scene, Yuning didn't think much about it. She pushed Yushan towards the back of the mountain. The two of them chatted as they walked, and it was a very intimate conversation. Yuning thought that Yushan had really thought it through and was enlightened, so she was very happy. The harmony of House Yu was the most important thing to Yuning. If Yushan could think it through, it would be good for him to be in charge of the housekeeping. Yushan said it nicely, but he was laughing coldly in his heart. Xiao Ning, you're too naive. You believe everything I say? You'll be dumbfounded when Zhao Qibing kidnaps you later. At this moment, Zhao Qibing was already hiding in the back of the hidden House Yu's mountain. Both of them were Earth-class practitioners. It was a piece of cake for them to hide from the patrolling disciples. The hidden House Yu was only a hidden house, and the patrolling disciples were only golden-class masters. This was nothing compared to the ancient level. Zhao Qibing had already received Yushan's secret message. He was ready to kidnap Yuning at any time. When the two of them got close, Zhao Qibing ordered Uncle Zhu, Uncle Zhu, you go and knock that girl out and carry her away. But remember to carry her in a certain position. Don't touch her, she's my future wife. Uncle Zhu's heart skipped a beat. He quickly replied, but in his heart he was already so old. Naturally he wouldn't touch her. However, he was curious about Zhao Qibing coming to the hidden House Yu's territory to kidnap someone. What was Zhao Qibing trying to do? Uncle Zhu didn't know Yuning, so naturally, he didn't know who the man and woman were. He hesitated before taking action. Master Bing, just the girl? What about the man in the wheelchair? Should we kill them or capture them together? When you go, knock the man out and just capture the girl, Zhao Qibing said. Didn't he see my face? Uncle Zhu paused and asked. It's fine. That's my spy, the young master of the hidden house Yu Shan. The girl is his sister, Yu Ning. I'm planning to make her my wife. Zhao Qibing was afraid that Uncle Zhu wouldn't be at ease, so he explained. Of course, he wasn't afraid that the news would leak since they were about to take action. This would be exposed sooner or later anyway. At that time, it would be time for Zhao Qibing to propose to the hidden house Yu. What's done is done. There's nothing to be afraid of. Yu Ning? But does a spy need to be knocked out? Uncle Zhu paused. This Zhao Qibing was quite daring. He even dared to kidnap the young miss of House Yu. However, he didn't think much about it. After all, he didn't know the relationship between Lin Yi and Yu Ning. In Uncle Zhu's impression, Lin Yi was enemies with the hidden House Yu and House Zhao. Yes, won't we expose ourselves if we don't knock them out? Alright, let's move. Zhao Qibing saw the two approaching and ordered. Yes. Uncle Zhu nodded and understood, so he quickly rushed over. When Yu Ning was defenseless, he knocked her out with a palm. Then, under Yu Shan's expressionless face, he knocked him out with a punch, then carried Yu Ning and turned to leave. Zhao Qibing saw that Uncle Zhu succeeded and didn't dare to stay any longer. He quickly ran away with Uncle Zhu. After avoiding the patrolling disciples, they got into a car at the foot of the mountain and left the hidden house Yu's territory as fast as lightning. Chapter 2664. Master Bing, where are we going now? Uncle Zhu asked carefully. To the hotel, but not the one from before. We can't stay in the town, we'll go to the city next door. Qibing was afraid that someone in the town would recognize Yu Ning and cause unnecessary trouble. He'd already checked the route and went to a 5-star hotel in the city next door. Oh. Uncle Zhu nodded, getting the gist of it. Master Bing, you're not thinking of forcing it? Wouldn't that cause conflict and war between the hidden house Zhao and House Yu? Uncle Zhu, you're only looking at the surface, not the pros and cons in the middle. With that, Qibing told Uncle Zhu about his analysis and plans. After listening to Qibing's analysis, Uncle Zhu came to a realization. This wasn't the time to blame the young miss of House Yu. Turning a bad thing into a good thing was the right thing to do, so Qibing's words made sense. Once Yu Ning became his wife, everything would be fine, but could Lin Yi make use of this? Uncle Zhu decided to find a chance to inform Lin Yi about this. If Lin Yi could make use of it, that would be the best, but if not, he'd do his best. Hidden house Yu Shan and Yu Ning hadn't contacted each other for a long time, and Xiaochen was starting to panic. He called Yu Ning's pager, which could only be used within the range of the hidden house Yu. Like the intercom system, it couldn't be used to communicate with the outside world. Xiaochen was afraid that Yu Ning would contact Lin Yi casually, so he restricted her communication. After the call connected, it showed that she wasn't in range, and the call was restricted. Xiaochen was shocked. This meant that the pager was turned off, or it had left the range of the hidden house Yu's signal. But Yu Ning couldn't turn off the pager, and the pager was powered by solar energy, so it couldn't be without electricity. The only possibility was that something had happened. With that thought, Xiaochen called Yu Shan's pager again. Yu Shan's pager was connected, but no one answered. Xiaochen switched to Yu Shan's phone, and it was the same. No one answered, and cold sweat dripped down Xiaochen's forehead. Someone! Xiaochen roared. Patriarch! It was Rain 7. U6 had died, and he was now in charge of U6's work, becoming Yu Xiaochen's follower. Go, get someone to look for Yu Ning and Yu Shan near the family mountain range. If there's any news, report to me immediately. Xiaochen ordered. Yes, Patriarch. After Yu Qi received the order, he quickly left to look for Yu Ning and Yu Shan. Xiaochen, on the other hand, furrowed his brows, hesitating on whether or not he should tell his father about this. Xiaochen decided to wait. In case it was just a false alarm, he wouldn't want to alert his father. The elder Yu had recently touched the barrier of Sky Class early phase peak, and there was a high chance that he'd reach Sky Class mid-phase. He'd been training whenever he had time, and Xiaochen didn't want to disturb him. However, very soon, U7 sent a very bad news. They found Yu Shan in the back mountain of the family, but Yushan was knocked out. He was now in a coma, and Yushan was alone. There was no trace of Yuning by his side. This news made Xiaochun's heart sink. He quickly ordered U7 to increase the search area and send Yushan over as soon as possible. Xiaochun wanted to know what had happened. It wasn't long before Rain 7 brought Yushan over. Patriarch, I've brought Yushan here. We didn't do anything after finding him, and we didn't wake him up even after checking if he was injured, and Xiaochun nodded and massaged Yushan's body a few times. Yushan slowly turned around and opened his eyes, a little dazed. The next moment, he cried out, "Not good, save him. Someone's kidnapped Ning sis." What? Xiaochun's eyes widened as he looked at Yushan. What's going on? Where's Yuning? Who kidnapped her? Uncle, hurry and save Ning sis, someone's kidnapped her. Yushan struggled to get up from the stretcher. Calm down first, tell me slowly what's going on. Xiaochun frowned as he saw Yushan's rambling. It's like this. Sister Xiaoning was pushing me around the back mountain when two people suddenly appeared. They knocked me out and kidnapped Sister Xiaoning. Yushan said. Oh, what do they look like? Which direction did they run off to? Xiaochun frowned. Those two. One old and one young. I don't know the old one, but the young one, I think it was Lin. I'm not sure, it was too fast after all. The young one took her away, and the old one hit me, and I fainted. Yushan said. As for which direction they went, I don't know. I fainted and didn't see clearly. What? Lin? Xiaochun paused, not expecting Lin Yi to do it. In actuality, Yushan was just trying to smooth things over, to give the hidden house Yu the wrong direction and buy time for Zhao Qibing. He seemed to be talking about Lin Yi, but he wasn't sure if it was Lin. Even if Xiaochun found out the truth, he could just say that he didn't see clearly. I think it was Lin, but I'm not sure, Uncle. You know that I'm injured and I can't move freely. I only saw it from the side, and I didn't see it clearly. Yushan said. Yuqi searched the city. Search the entire city and send people to the highways nearby to look for Yuning's whereabouts. Xiaochun ordered. Yuqi nodded. Xiaochun regretted not giving Yuning a cell phone, but he couldn't do that now. Yushan had fainted for a while now, and it was a problem if he could stop Lin. With the current situation, Xiaochun didn't have the time to doubt Yushan. He quickly flew to the mountaintop. This was beyond his control and decision-making. If Yuning was just his daughter, he could make the decision himself, but Yuning's identity was special, and he had to let the old ancestor make the decision. Chapter 2665. Househead is practicing, please be quiet. You heard Xiaochun use impatient voice and jumped in fright. She quickly spoke up to stop him. Yi, something big has happened. Ning was kidnapped by Lin Yi, hurry and inform father. Xiaochun said. Yi heard about this, and cold sweat poured down his forehead. He quickly turned around to inform the old ancestor of House Yu. At that moment, old ancestor Yu's voice sounded from within, appearing in front of Xiaochun. Xiaochun, what did you say? Lin Yi kidnapped Yuning? Is this real? Are you sure? Lin Yi broke into our hidden house Yu's castle? Father, it's like this, it's Yushan. With that, Xiaochun quickly told the story of how Yushan wanted to go out for a walk after the meal and how Yuning pushed him out. He then told the story of how Yushan fainted and woke up claiming that Lin Yi kidnapped Yuning. Yushan said all this? Old ancestor Yu was old and experienced, and although he was panicking, he was much calmer than Xiaochun. He could hear the illogic in the story. Why did they go to the back mountain? Why would they go to such a remote place? If Lin Yi kidnapped Yuning, why did he keep Yushan alive? Why didn't he kill him? Didn't they have a grudge against each other? Xiaochun was suspicious after hearing what old ancestor Yu said. I don't know why they went to such a remote place, should I go ask? But Lin Yi didn't kill Yushan. It could be understood that he didn't want to be enemies with our hidden house Yu. After all, he likes Ning, and it wouldn't be good to kill her family. Old ancestor Yu nodded. Let's go, we'll go ask Yushan. Xiaochun and Yi quickly followed behind the old man, and the three of them went down the mountain. Yushan saw that his plan worked, and he was secretly happy, but he still acted like he was out of his wits. Yuqi had already arranged for people to expand the search area, sending out all the hidden house use people, but there was still no news of Yuning. Yushan knew that Qibing must have left safely, that it was a success. Yushan, why did you and Yuning go to such a remote mountain? Yushan was happy when the deep voice of old ancestor Yu came from behind, scaring him so much that he almost fell out of his wheelchair. Ah, Grandpa. After this period of depression, Yushan had learned to not show his emotions on his face. After adjusting his emotions, he turned around and said in fear and trepidation, Grandpa, my sister and I were talking about resolving our grudges. At that time, there were servants walking around. I was afraid that they would overhear our family matters and gossip, so I scolded one of the servants and told him to stay away from us. However, Sister Xiaoning was kind and helped him out. She didn't let me scold him anymore. Then, she pushed me to the back of the mountain because there were fewer people there and it was more convenient to talk. Yushan pushed all the responsibility to Yuning, clearing his name of responsibility. Oh, which servant? Old ancestor Yu asked. It's not far from the door, there's a servant making flowers, I don't know his name. Paused, and smiled bitterly. However, Yushan didn't know this servant, which lessened old ancestor Yu's suspicions a little. If Yushan found this witness right away, that would be a problem. Yuqi, go ask around and see if this is the case. Old ancestor Yu ordered. Yes. Rain 7 replied and quickly ran out. Not long after, she returned with a servant. This servant was the one Yushan scolded earlier, and although he was scared, he didn't dare to hide anything. He told the story, and it was exactly the same as what Yushan said. Old ancestor Yu nodded, believing Yushan's words. You're saying that Lin Yi kidnapped Yuning? Old ancestor Yu waved his hand, signaling Yu Qi to take the servant away as he continued to ask Yushan. I'm not sure about that, I only vaguely saw that the person seemed to be Lin Yi, but I didn't see it clearly, so I don't know if it's him. Yushan shook his head and said uncertainly. All right Yuqi, push Yushan down first. Old ancestor Yu looked at Yuqi and gave him a look. Yuqi could tell that old ancestor Yu was suspicious of Yushan, and naturally he understood that old ancestor Yu wanted him to watch over Yushan for now, so he quickly replied, yes. Then, Yuqi pushed Yushan out of the hall. Yushan, naturally, understood that there were too many suspicious points in his plan. Yu Xiaochen was worried about Yuning's safety, so he didn't have time to think about it, but old ancestor Yu was different. He was a meticulous thinker, and he must have seen through the flaws in the plan. It was normal for him to be watched over now, and Yushan didn't mind. Once Zhao Qibing got what he wanted, he would have achieved his goal. Not only did he annoy Lin Yi, but House Yu was finished as well. His revenge was complete. After Yu Qi left with Yushan, old ancestor Yu turned to Yu Xiaochen. Xiaochen, what do you think? Yushan's words are fine, but it's still suspicious, Yu Xiaochen said after a deep sigh. Xiao Yu said after a sigh. There was only him, old elder Yu, and Yu Yi left in the hall, so there was no need to hide anything. He could just say whatever he wanted to say. Not bad, give Yushu a call and ask her where Lin Yi is. Old ancestor Yu nodded and turned to Yu. Yes, old master. Yu Yi replied and took out his phone, dialing Yushu's number. Yushan never would have thought that old ancestor Yu had a backup plan, one that could track Lin Yi's movements at any time. But it didn't matter even if he knew, since Zhao Qibing had already left the hidden house Yu's search range. As long as he held on and pushed Yuning down, there would be no turning back. So what if he knew that it wasn't Lin Yi? At this moment, Lin Yi, Meng Yao, Yushu, and Xinyan had just finished school. After dinner, Lin Yi and Xinyan went back to their room to practice, while Meng Yao and Yushu sat on the sofa, watching TV. Chapter 2666. Yushu's lazy demeanor turned back to her usual shrewd self. She stood up and walked towards the bathroom. Yao Yao sis, I'm going to take a call. It's my brother. Meng Yao didn't mind. If it was Yu Tian, he would probably talk to Yushu for a long time. It was normal for Yushu to go to the bathroom to take the call. She didn't want to disturb her TV. Yushu came to the bathroom and picked up the phone carefully. She lowered her voice. What's the matter? Do you want to give me the antidote? It's not time yet, right? Shu, I need to confirm something with you. Where's Lin Yi now? Yui didn't answer Yushu's question but asked directly. He's at home. What's wrong? Don't tell me you want me to deal with him again? Yushu asked back. At home? Are you sure? Yui asked. Yeah, he's in the room. Do you want to talk to him? Yushu realized that she guessed wrongly. Yui's call wasn't to give her the antidote nor to deal with Lin. It was just to ask about Lin Yi's whereabouts. He hasn't left before? Yui asked uncertainly. Yeah, he hasn't left. Yushu was even more confused. She didn't know what Yui wanted. Then it's fine. Yui hung up the phone. What the hell? Yushu put away her phone and walked out of the bathroom. She wondered what was wrong with Yui. Why did he make such a strange call? Shu, you finished the call? So fast? Meng Yao was surprised to see Yushu come back so soon. Oh, my brother just said a few words and he's already busy. It's not like you don't know his job. Yushu shook her head helplessly. Oh. Meng Yao nodded and didn't think much about it. She continued watching TV. On Yui's side. He also told Yushu's words to old Yu. Are you sure that Lin Yi is at home and didn't come over? Elder Yu frowned, suspecting Yushan again. Yes, she didn't have to lie to me, Yui said. She didn't dare to lie to me. She was afraid that I wouldn't give her the antidote next time. That's true. Elder Yu nodded, but he didn't relax. He turned to Xiaochen. Xiaochen, you have Yupanhu's number, right? Wasn't he in the same class as Linny? Ask him. Did you see Linny today? If Linny didn't leave until school ended today, it means that he didn't do it because he didn't have enough time. Even if he rushed over after school, he wouldn't have made it in time. All right, father, but I have Yu Jintian's number. I don't have Yu Coiling Tiger's number, but I can ask. Xiaochen nodded and went to make the call. Over here. Old Master Yu and Yu Wan were waiting for Yu Xiaochen's news. Yu Xiaochen had confirmed the news as well. How is it? Old Master Yu saw Xiaochen walk over and asked hurriedly. With his personality, he was rarely in a rush. For Yuning, he was a little out of control. If something really happened to Yuning, Elder Xuanshen's rage wasn't something the hidden house Yu could handle. We can confirm that it wasn't Lin. Shu didn't lie, Lin Yi was at home. Yu Coiling Tiger confirmed it. Lin Yi didn't leave the classroom until school ended, Xiaochen said. As long as it's not Lin Yi. Old Ancestor Yu let out a sigh of relief. If Lin Yi was the one who kidnapped Yuning, the possibility of something really happening between the two of them was too high. There was no way Old Ancestor Yu wouldn't be worried. But if it wasn't Lin Yi, it would be much worse. Old Master Yu naturally didn't think of Zhao Qibing as a factor. As far as he was concerned, someone who could kidnap Yuning and enter the hidden house Yu's no man's land had to be a practitioner of mystic class and above. They kidnapped Yuning for money. As long as it was money, it was easy. The hidden house Yu didn't lack money. If they wanted money, they could give it. If they really wanted something, they could use that place to suppress it. These years, the name of that place wasn't as low-key as before. It had spread to all the big sects and families. As long as a practitioner had a bit of ability, they would vaguely hear of that place. Although they didn't know where it was, it didn't affect the power of that place. Father, then what should we do now? Xiaochen asked. On one hand, increase the search. You won, you'll be in charge of this personally, Old Master Yu said. Elder Yu said. On the other hand, Yu Xiaochen, you go talk to Yu Shan. Don't force him, and don't alert him. Try to find out if this has anything to do with him. Alright, I'll go right now, Xiaochen and Yui replied. As for the old ancestor of House Yu, although he was anxious, there was nothing he could do. He could only wait here for news. The person who kidnapped Yuning must have a purpose. It was impossible for them to kidnap her without making any noise. So now the old ancestor of House Yu could only wait. Time passed, second by second. Zhao Qibing drove to a nearby city and booked a hotel in advance. In order to hide from the eyes and ears of the people in the hotel, Uncle Zhu used a long box that was prepared in advance and put Yuning in it. Yuning was slender, and when she was put in the box, from the appearance, it looked like a large electronic organ or musical instrument. Uncle Zhu carried the box and entered the hotel with Qibing. Qibing had booked the room online, so it didn't take long for him to get the room card and go upstairs with Uncle Zhu. Qibing booked a luxurious presidential suite. As far as he was concerned, Yu Ning was his future wife. She wasn't the kind of girl he could just get into bed with. It was their first time, so he had to be serious. In a 5-star hotel's presidential suite, it wouldn't be a disgrace to their status. After entering the room, Qibing and Uncle Zhu breathed out in relief. Going to the hidden house Yu to kidnap someone. If the hidden house Yu found out about this, they'd be dead meat. Even if the hidden house Yu didn't do anything to Qibing out of respect for the hidden house Zhao, Uncle Zhu would definitely be in trouble. And so, Uncle Zhu's hatred towards Zhao Qibing deepened even further. From his point of view, it was no wonder that Qibing didn't tell him the truth. He would tell him when the time came and only tell him the truth when the time came. Chapter 2667. It was probably because Qibing was afraid that he wouldn't dare to go. Uncle Zhu wasn't happy about being treated as a scapegoat, but he still followed Qibing's orders and poured Yu Ning out of the box onto the bed in the presidential suite. Master Bing, everything is prepared according to your orders. What do you think we should do now? Uncle Zhu asked. Oh, you give this bag of powder to Yu Ning. I want to set up the camera. Qibing said as he took out a bag of powder from his backpack and passed it to Uncle Zhu. He then took out a camera. Oh, what powder is this? Uncle Zhu paused. This is the aphrodisiac Yaowang made for me. It's colorless and odorless, but it's very strong. Girls will be very active after taking it. Qibing didn't hide anything anymore. I want to record the whole process of sleeping with Yu Ning and let the old man of house Yu see that it was Yu Ning who took the initiative. This way, the hidden house Yu can only take the loss and marry Yu Ning to me for the sake of their reputation. So that's how it is. Uncle Zhu's heart skipped a beat, thinking that Qibing's idea was brilliant. This way, even if the hidden house Yu suspected something, Qibing would have the recording in his hand. If they insisted that he and Yu Ning were lovers, and it was Yu Ning who initiated it, then what could the hidden house Yu do? Even if Yu Ning told the truth, the hidden house Zhao would only need to publicize the video and find the other hidden houses to judge. The hidden house Yu would lose all their face. The only way was for the hidden house Yu to accept it and marry Yu Ning to Qibing. This way, Qibing would have the help of the hidden house Yu and become the young master of the hidden house Zhao without a doubt. But this way, Qibing would have a strong backing. Would he go against Lin Yi? With that thought, Uncle Zhu couldn't help but worry. Would he be able to ruin Qibing's plan? But his power was limited, so he could only ask Lin Yi. Let's see if Lin Yi had any ideas. Uncle Zhu took his time to prepare the medicine. Qibing had already set up the camera, and he chose a very good angle to capture both him and Yu Ning. However, it wasn't clear, mainly because he couldn't capture Yu Ning's body clearly, but he could capture Qibing's body clearly. This recording was for old Yu and Yu Shaochen to see, even though Yu Ning was their daughter and granddaughter. But Zhao Qibing didn't want his wife to be seen by other people, so he had to make it a little blurry. If necessary, he would find a woman who knew how to do post-processing to help him cover it up. Uncle Zhu, are you done yet? The boiling water should be enough. Hurry up and let Yu Ning drink it. It's not like you can burn her to death. Qibing saw that Uncle Zhu was still shaking the cup, not feeding the medicine to Yu Ning. He panicked. The medicine will take effect in half an hour, and Yu Ning is unconscious. It would probably take longer for it to act up. You should hurry up. I can't wait. Oh, okay. Uncle Zhu wanted to drag it out a little longer, but since Qibing said so, he had no choice but to pour the medicine into Yu Ning's mouth. Seeing Uncle Zhu pour the medicine into Yu Ning's mouth, Qibing nodded. All right. Stand guard at the door, I'll take a shower first. Yes, Master Bing. Uncle Zhu quickly left the room. The first thing she did when she got out of the room was take out her phone and call Lin Yi's number. Lin Yi was practicing in his room when his phone suddenly rang. Lin Yi quickly ended his practice and picked up the phone. It was Zhu, and Lin Yi picked it up. There must be some progress on Qibing's side. Boss, I have something important to report to you. Uncle Zhu said hurriedly. On this side, Zhao Qibing has started his operation. He brought me to the hidden house Yu and captured Yu Ning. Now, Zhao Qibing wants to force himself on her and make it a fact so that the hidden house Yu can't say anything and marry Yu Ning to him. What? Lin Yi was shocked and angered by Uncle Zhu's words. Qibing took Yu Ning away? Lin Yi's mind went blank with a boom. Whatever Uncle Zhu said after that, Lin Yi didn't hear. Lin Yi's thoughts drifted back to that moonlit night many years ago, the Valentine's Day he spent with Yu Ning in the cave. Although Lin Yi's strength had been increasing these days, to the point where he had the tendency to surpass the hidden houses, Lin Yi still felt complicated about the relationship he once rejected. He didn't know how to face it. The love he once missed, could he really find it again? Lin Yi tried to avoid this question, and he didn't even answer Yu Bing directly. In fact, Lin Yi knew that it was a cowardly act. He didn't dare to face this love that he rejected before it even started. In the end, Lin didn't dare to face the past. He didn't want to go back to his old life. Lin Yi's current life made him feel comfortable. However, just when Lin Yi thought that he would never have anything to do with Yu Ning in this life, Zhu Er's phone call changed the course of his life. This was a girl that he once had feelings for, and it was still engraved in his heart. If childhood playmates were childhood sweethearts, then Yu Ning was Lin Yi's true first love. 16 years old, the first awakening of love. However, Lin Yi thought that this relationship would become an eternal memory, but reality forced Lin Yi to face it again. Zhao Qibing? Did this guy eat a leopard's guts? How could he do something like this? Lin Yi understood that he didn't know about the relationship between him and Yu Ning. Ignorance was bliss, but the hidden house Yu's anger wasn't something that they could face, right? But suddenly, Lin Yi remembered Zhu's explanation. Zhao Qibing was a good schemer, wasn't he? He actually came up with a trick like this, forcing the hidden house Yu to suffer in silence? But one had to admit that Zhao Qibing's trick was really effective. After all, the hidden house Yu wouldn't be so shameless to expose this. Instead of a life and death struggle, it was better to sit down and talk peacefully, and let Yu Ning marry Zhao Qibing. Boss, if Yu Ning marries Zhao Qibing, then Zhao Qibing will really be the head of the hidden house Zhao. If we want to deal with him, it'll be even harder. After all, he has the hidden house Yu behind him.